Good morning, students. Welcome to webinar for Success at CA examination organized by Board of Studies for you. And today, your mentor, I am CA Karuna Bhansali.
I am CA Rajeev Sachdeva.
We both are faculty at Board of Studies. Students, in the hall of learning where knowledge blooms, sudden treat through the classroom's room, with textbook open, pen in hand, embarking on a journey in the grand. In the realm of study, where challenges reside, they navigate the waves with courage as their guide. For every lesson learned, a step forward the light, as they strive for excellence with all their might. Through night of study and days of toil, they plant the seeds in the fertile soil. For success is not merely a distant dream, but the product of effort like a flowing stream. The obstacle may loom and doubt may rise. With perseverance as their ally, they will reach the skies. For in the crucible of hard work embrace lies the path to triumph in any place. So heed the call, O student dear. Let determination banish fear, for in the pursuit of knowledge, clear lies the promise of a future near. With every test and every task, with every test, every exam, every task, remember it's the effort that will last. For in the journey of learning, vast. Hard work will guide you to success steadfast. So with this, I welcome you all for this Success at CA examination. And it gives me immense pleasure to interact with you for this new scheme when we are appearing for May 24 examination in Advanced Auditing Assurance and Professional Ethics CA Final Paper 3. You know, there's not lot of difference in the syllabus, right? Few topics are deleted and few new topics are inserted as per the requirement of current scenario. Hope I'm audible. Are you able to hear me? So, so there is not lot much difference, but the only thing you need to ensure that auditing is cornerstone. It is our heart of the profession, and you are future of the profession. You are a future professional chartered accountants, है ना? So you need to inculcate the habit to develop should excellence should reflect in your knowledge. So when we analyze the result, auditing subjects result is very, very low. So we need to put in our best of the efforts. We need to put hard work. We need to understand what is the requirement, how we need to go, and how we can be successful, not by compromising in any of the topic. We need to understand how the syllabus is being designed, how many chapters are there, why this chapter is there, and what is the importance of that particular chapter. Try to understand. This audit is not a crucial and difficult subject. You can get very good marks. Since childhood, we are having habit to do auditing. When your mother gives or your parents gives you some money when you were small kid, at that time, then you went to the market, you brought certain things. When you return back to home, you might have checked what you have bought, whether the list is whatever was task given to you, whatever list was given to you that you need to bought all those items, whether you are able to do that or not, how much money you have paid. So all those checks and balances you have done since childhood. So audit is same. So auditing is, and there is nothing new. It's very, very easy and important subject, and it is very, very practical subject. Only thing is you need to understand how it is practically important. So when you are studying, please don't try to compromise with this subject, thinking that it is not a practical subject. So we need not to practice as much as it is required for any practical subject. You need to devote and allocate same time so that you can fetch good marks in your examination. So students, before I start, what we have bring in the menu for today's session, like we will be discussing how many chapters, what is covered in that chapter, what is the weightage for that chapter, how to study that particular topic and chapter, and then how to attend the questions in the paper. And if with the help of some technical questions, that how, when this kind of question is being posed in the examination, how you will be addressing that question. Of course, till the time we have completed our mock test paper series 1. So you might have attempted that. So you are able to analyze the pattern of the question paper, which will be posed for May 24 examination. That is a sort of sample paper. With the help of that, you can analyze, yes, what kind of paper will be there. So I think we have started receiving queries from the students, Anand Kumar and the Shailesh and Sumit. So, Sumit, we'll be taking your query, right? But before that, I just want to tell you that auditing is very, very easy subject. Just you need to understand the importance of subject, right? Like in life, we meet many people, and we interact with few of them. Looking at the importance or how effective they are, and what is what is the role of those people in your life. Same way, you are having lot many subjects. But when you will understand what is the importance of auditing subject, you will allocate time to that subject, and I'm promising you, you will be getting very good marks. So for that, I'm going to discuss the strategy. Remember my one thing, one example which I generally give when I interact with the student, that when we have to go for treatment, we go to the best doctor. We don't go to the doctor which have compromised while studying, right? Who has not gone for any shortcut for the studies. We go to the doctor who has studied well, in-depth study, who is having very good practical knowledge, and who is able to identify the problem and give the solution, and the doctor's treatment works. When we have to renovate our home, we look for an engineer or architect or any professional. For that matter, if there is a legal case, we search for the advocate who is very good in his field, who has done very good study. So for that, I am giving you an example for auditing subject also. Please, please, it's my humble request. Don't compromise while studying. Don't compromise with any of the topic. Try to understand why this topic is important, what is the importance of that particular topic, and how we can learn that topic and how we can practically implement. So when you study, just keep in your mind that I am future chartered accountant and I have to go for audit, right? So you might have gone through this study material, because now we are approaching examination. So you might have visualized that how many topics are there, and we have 1 to 19 chapters, right? And how many chapters are for engagement and quality control standard? If we see first to 11 chapters, for initial 11 chapters that are covered in section 1 are purely based on engagement and quality control standard. So you might observe the difference also, that in the previous scheme, in the exam which you have appeared till November, you might have seen that only SA 700 series, till SA 700 series part was applicable. Now, all the 46 standards, all the 46 engagement and quality control standards are applicable for your May 2024 examination. And you know what is the weightage? 45% to 55% that is given on the website, right? It means its weightage is 52 to 62 marks. So these alone engagement and quality control standards can help you in clearing the examination. And you know, for professional ethics also, the weightage is being increased. It's 17% to 24%. And new 2 topics are added. I will tell you how to study that topic also, like digital audit and assurance and ESG, right? So these 2 topics, and they are also having individual weightage of 3% to 6%, right? And last but not least, miscellaneous audits, that is audit of PSU and this investigation, due diligence, forensic, audit of bank, NBFC, all those topics. For that, Again, weightage is 17% to 24%. So I'm starting by section, right? So first to 1 to 11 chapters, you might have referred the Saransh booklet also, where we have given flowcharts, right? One more thing I want to apprise you that for students, like when we for getting success, we should have all the relevant material. We should know what are the resources available for us. That is, one is study material. Second is revisionary test paper, which help you to revise the curriculum. Mock test paper, where you can really practice. Before appearing for the examination, you are able to manage your stress level. You are able to understand how the paper will be, how to attend that paper, and how to go about it, right? Then we are having MCQ practice portal. On MCQ practice portal, we are having independent MCQs as well as integrated case scenario based MCQs, right? So MCQ portal is independent MCQ will only be able to help you that how much knowledge you have acquired, because when you will be appearing for the examination, of course paper pattern is same, that is 30% for case scenario based MCQ based, and 70% is descriptive part, and 70% 70 marks also we are having 114 marks internal this internal choice and one more additional internal choice. So same paper pattern is there. The only difference is now we will be having independent MCQs that will be only and only application and analysis based, right? So there will not be a single multiple choice question, which is only knowledge and comprehension based. So you need to keep it in your mind that there is no independent MCQ, which is knowledge and comprehension based MCQ, right? And for that, I also want to add on, like in first to 11 chapters, this time we have added SA 800 series, specialized area, SAEs, SREs, and SRSs, right? Which I told you that in engagement quality control standards, we are having SQC, SAs, SAEs, SREs, and SRS. So SA 800 series, SAE, SRE, and SRS, for that you might have observed that specifically we have written that basic and overview of SA 800 series, SAE, SRE, and SRS. So in your MCQ paper, they will not, for these particular topic, you need to study from the chapter only, because only basic and overview part is applicable for that part. So, and in independent MCQ, there'll be only application and analysis part MCQs, right? So I think Anand Singh is asking, ma'am, how to prepare in midst of chaos and noise of election. Acha. So for that, you need to improve focus, right, Anand? For that, you need to practice, you need to do meditation, then you need to focus. And of course, we have lot many options how to improve our focus, and where we can sit and without getting disturbed, we can study, right? And then Sumit is saying, I'm able to score only 1 or 2 marks in 5 marks question. How to improve this? So that strategy will, of course, will be covering in the later part. So first thing, I'm coming with the syllabus. So know your syllabus, right? In 1 to 11 chapters, we are having engagement and quality control standards. So students generally compromise. When we interact with the students, we come to know that for standards or auditing part, they generally compromise, and they ignore that part, and they go for flowcharts or shortcut for that particular engagement and quality control standards part. So student, first of all, you need to understand the importance of that particular standard, and later on, I'll also tell you that how you can cover in the limited time period and how you can prepare your flowcharts. So first you try to understand that we have SQC1 and total 46 standard. Out of that SQC1 is firm's responsibility to implement the quality control procedures. Then we have SA 200 series. What is that? It's general principles, overall objective and general principles. So if you refer that series, you need to understand, because you need to develop the habit to learn the essay name also. Essay 200, it's overall objective, right? So it will basically give you idea of what is covered when we are going for audit, what should be our objective. When we move toward essay 210, when we are going for audit, it is very, very important to have engagement letter. So what should be covered in that engagement letter? What will be scope? What will be auditor's responsibility? What will be the management's responsibility? All these parts are covered in an engagement letter. And Essay 210 specifically guides about the engagement letter. Now, Essay 220 is again quality control. So you might have seen that chapter 1, that is basically quality control. In that particular chapter, we are covering SQC1 and Essay 220. What is the difference between 1 and Essay 220? SQC1 is implemented by the firm and Essay 220 is specifically for audit engagement, right? Then next chapter is, then when we move towards the series, Essay 220 is quality control, that is discussed in SQC quality control chapter 1 along with SQC1, so that you can get the idea how firm will implement the policy and procedures for implementing quality control and how we can ensure for particular audit engagement by implementing Essay 220 quality control for auditing of financial statement. Then if we talk of general principle, it comes to Essay 230, that is audit documentation. When you are going for audit, because you might have heard, if the audit documentation is not there, means audit is not done. So documentation is very, very important. So Essay 230 guides when you are going for audit, what should be part of your audit documentation? What should be forming part of permanent working papers? What should be part of current working paper? Then if we move to Essay 240, that is again when there is a case of fraud, how you will deal with that situation, that is covered in Essay 240. 250 is consideration of laws and regulation. And 260 and 265 talks about communication with those charged with governance. So this is basically general principles. When you have to write in the examination, first you need to prepare, need to read the BoS standard. You need to prepare your own flow charts where you will mention what is the number of standard, what is the objective of that standard, what is the scope of that standard. When you are writing objective and scope, while appearing in examination, when you read the question, you will be able to understand the requirement. What is the requirement of that particular question and which standard is applicable in that particular question? Because generally when students interact with us, when they approach us, that is the basic problem. They are not able to identify which standard is applicable in that particular question. Because when you are writing in the examination, you need to give the reference of that particular engagement and quality control standard. You need to give provision and explanation, and you need to interlink it with fact of the case. And of course, conclusion part is very, very important. We are receiving query from Abbas.
Independent MCQs would be there also.
So independent MCQs will definitely be there, Abbas. Independent MCQs will be there, but then we will not be having knowledge-based MCQ. Knowledge-based MCQ means, like just I have asked, what is your name? Simply on the basis of knowledge, you need to answer. That kind of questions will not be in the MCQ part. You will be having the scenario-based MCQ where you need to read the MCQ, you need to apply the provision, and accordingly you need to identify the correct option, which is, and you need to mark that correct option in the nation, right? Yes, Prahlad, it's better, you need to develop the habit to remember the essay name. That's why I'm saying you need to prepare some certain notes or flowcharts. When I'm telling you that this particular engagement and quality control standard section is very, very important, it alone can give you 52 to 62 marks. Means 45% to 55% weightage is allocated to these topics. It means it's very, very important. So please, my humble request, don't compromise with engagement and quality control standards topic and preparation, because generally students compromise with that. They are generally they get panic when they see engagement and quality control standard are so vast. So now what we have tried to done is we have tried to cover the particular standard in chapter form only. Of course, the standards which you have studied in intermediate level, that is Only application analysis part is applicable. For that, you can refer Saransh and you can refer BoS standard. So try to read BoS standard, right? And then second thing, when we move after SA 200, we have SA 300 series, because after having general principles, what is the auditor's role? They need to identify, they need to assess the risk. Okay, so that particular risk assessment and response to assess risk is covered in your SA 300 series. So in SA 300 series, you will be planning the audit. You will be assessing, identifying and assessing the risk, right? You will respond to risk, materiality in planning, right? So all these parameters are covered in SA 300 series. So first you remember what is the which series is there, what is covered in that particular series, and then thereafter you need to understand what is the sequence of that essay, what is basically covered in that particular essay, and when you are preparing your flowchart, please add certain more parameters in addition to essay name, number, scope, and objective. You need to add what is the auditor's role. When you read the question in the examination, generally it is being asked, what is the auditor's role? What is the auditor's responsibility in this particular situation? Or how auditor will deal with that situation? Or how auditor will report, right? So in your notes or flowchart, you will add one more criteria, that is auditor's role, responsibilities, or what is the duty of auditor. Thereafter, you will add in your notes reporting requirement, how auditor will report, right? So after SA 300, we are having 402 and 450 also in 300 series. 402 is when we are using the service organization, and 450 is about materiality in misstatements. Again, 500 purely audit evidence, because when you are going for audit, nobody is there to guide, right? How you have to pursue the audit, if that kind of situation happens, how you will deal, how you will collect the audit evidence, all these guidance are available with you in the form of auditing pronouncement, engagement, and quality control standards. So in SA 500, it specifically deals with audit evidence series. So, sir, would you like to add on audit evidence?
Yes, yes. Yes, good morning, everyone. So many students are connected. Sumit, Anand, Shailesh, Mansha, Bas, Prahlad. Good morning, everyone, students. Yes, as madam has explained about SA 200 basic principles and so on. And students, two things I would like to add into this. Sumit is asking as to I was getting only 1 mark out of 5 marks. And other students have also similar questions. How to get more marks in auditing? As madam was saying, results are low in auditing. And students, since intermediate, I have been guiding you about how to prepare, how to improve your basically score in auditing. Student, two things you should adhere to, you should follow religiously. Two things are, have some backup. One thing is have some backup and then practice on it. So two things, what I suggest is, two things are very important. First, you need to have some backup and then continuous practice about it. For example, whatever I will say, I will give you, I will substantiate it with the help of example. For example, if I take an example of like madam was talking of audit evidence. So audit evidence, if I the heart of auditing itself, the heart of madam said, heart of profession is auditing. And if I am talking of heart of auditing itself, then it is audit evidence. Because now, what is audit evidence? If I ask you at the final level, what is audit evidence? And students, when you come to us and I ask this simple question, what is audit evidence? You are unable to explain what is audit evidence, and you are unable to write in similar manner in the examination even a single line that is that is, you see commanded language in the examination. That is why your score is not up to the mark. For example, if I am asking you one simple question, what is audit evidence? तो स्टूडेंट्स आप एक जनरल लैंग्वेज, एक ऑर्डिनरी लैंग्वेज लिखनी शुरू कर देते हो, ऑडिट एविडेंस जैसे कुछ भी आप लिखते हो, लेकिन वो अप टू द मार्क नहीं होता. दैट इज नॉट अप टू द, दैट डजंट कम अप टू द मार्क. तो ऑडिट एविडेंस, वेन एवर आई एम थिंकिंग ऑफ ऑडिट एविडेंस, तो वन थिंग विच स्ट्राइक्स माई माइंड इज इट इज एन इंफॉर्मेशन. तो ये आपके माइंड में जरूर आना चाहिए स्टूडेंट्स कि ऑडिट एविडेंस मीन्स इंफॉर्मेशन. Now, another thing which I suggest, always suggest, in particular on this subject, is that always study with linkage method. Just form linkages. And believe me, students, if you use linkage method, auditing will not be difficult for you, because it will involve, it is of course a slow method, but things will get established in your mind, and it will be there for very long period in your mind, and things will get permanent established in your mind, like cemented in your mind. For example, I give you one example. Audit evidence is the information. Now information, what the information is going to help to the auditor? It is the information which is used by the auditor. This is linkage. Information auditor क्या करेगा? Information को use करेगा. तो linkage बनाइए आप. And what will the auditor get when he will use the information? What will the auditor get when he will use the information? So audit or evidence is the information used by the auditor. Information used, after using the information, now the linkage tell me is after using the information, auditor will arrive at the conclusions. So अगर आप देखेंगे, audit evidence is the information used by the auditor in arriving at the conclusions on which the auditor's opinion is based. और conclusions के बेस पर auditor को अपनी opinion देनी होती है. तो आप देखेंगे स्टूडेंट्स कि मैंने एक वर्ड रिमेंबर करके, सिर्फ इंफॉर्मेशन रिमेंबर करके, मैंने पूरी लाइन को, पूरे सेंटेंस को अपने माइंड में एस्टेब्लिश कर लिया. बस रिकॉलिंग, यू हैव टू रिकॉल ओनली वन वर्ड, that is information. Means audit evidence is the information which is used by the auditor in arriving at the conclusion on which auditor's opinion is based. तो आप देख रहे हैं किस तरीके से लिंकेज मेथड वर्क करता है. तो बिलीव मी स्टूडेंट्स, पूरी ऑडिटिंग आप लिंकेज मेथड से कर सकते हैं. इसका एक और एग्जांपल मैं दूंगा. ऑडिट डॉक्यूमेंटेशन क्या होता है? लाइक ऑडिट एविडेंस इंफॉर्मेशन. आप अपने माइंड में एक बार ये इम्बाइब कर लीजिए वर्ड की ऑडिट एविडेंस इंफॉर्मेशन होता है. और स्टूडेंट्स बिलीव मी, स्टूडेंट्स जो हमारे पास आते हैं तो उनको ये इंफॉर्मेशन वर्ड ही नहीं पता होता है. एट फाइनल लेवल आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट. अब आप देख लो, आपके 5 में से 1 मार्क आने वाला है. कितने 1 भी मेरे को ज्यादा लगता है उस केस में, जब स्टूडेंट मुझे ये भी नहीं बताता कि इंफॉर्मेशन होता है. सो प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड, फर्स्ट you need to have a good backup in your this thing, backup with you. When you will have enough backup with you, then commanded language of auditing will not be a problem for you. So first collect your ABC with you. This is, and work on linkage method. Try to link the things, and then your language will automatically be very commanded, and marks will follow. I assure you, by this technique, marks will follow. For example, audit documentation. If I ask you what is audit documentation, तो ऑडिट डॉक्यूमेंटेशन अगर मैं पूछता हूं स्टूडेंट्स आपसे, तो आपके माइंड में कोई एक वर्ड आता है? मुझे बताओ. तो ऑडिट डॉक्यूमेंटेशन स्टूडेंट्स क्या होता है? इट इज द रिकॉर्ड ऑफ, लाइक मैंने आपको बताया, लाइक ऑडिट एविडेंस इज द इंफॉर्मेशन. तो ऑडिट डॉक्यूमेंटेशन इज record of, it is record of 3 things. It is record of 3 things. Number 1, अब आप इसमें भी लिंकेज बनाइए. जस्ट फॉर्म लिंकेजेस. 3 थिंग्स का रिकॉर्ड. आप एक रिमेंबर करिए, बाकी अदर विल फॉलो. ऑडिट डॉक्यूमेंटेशन इज रिकॉर्ड ऑफ, नंबर 1, ऑडिट प्रोसीजर्स परफॉर्म्ड. रिकॉर्ड है ऑडिट प्रोसीजर्स परफॉर्म्ड का. अब ऑडिट प्रोसीजर्स परफॉर्म करके ऑडिटर को क्या मिलने वाला है, आप लिंकेज बनाइए। आफ्टर हैविंग ऑडिट, आफ्टर परफॉर्मिंग ऑडिट प्रोसीजर्स, ऑडिटर को क्या मिलने वाला है? आफ्टर स्टूडेंट्स, आफ्टर परफॉर्मिंग ऑडिट प्रोसीजर्स, उसको एविडेंस मिलेगा। अगर वो मैं ऑडिट प्रोसीजर लगाऊंगा एज ऑडिटर तो मुझे एविडेंस मिलने वाला है। आप देखो सेकंड पॉइंट इसमें यही है, इट इज ऑडिट डॉक्यूमेंटेशन रेफर्स टू रिकॉर्ड ऑफ ऑडिट प्रोसीजर्स परफॉर्म्ड। ऑडिट प्रोसीजर्स परफॉर्म करके मुझे क्या मिला? रेलेवेंट ऑडिट एविडेंस ऑब्टेन्ड, सेकंड पॉइंट है। एंड थर्ड इज रेलेवेंट ऑडिट एविडेंस ऑब्टेन करेगा ऑडिटर, तो उसे क्या मिलने वाला है? उसके then he will be able to arrive at the conclusions। तो तीनों बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीजें हैं स्टूडेंट्स। ऑडिट डॉक्यूमेंटेशन refers to record of audit procedures performed, relevant audit evidence obtained and the conclusions the auditor reached। और conclusions के बेसिस पे फिर ऑडिटर अपनी ओपिनियन एक्सप्रेस करता है। तो इस तरह से अगर आप लिंकेज, अब एक चीज आप याद रखिए ऑडिट डॉक्यूमेंटेशन क्या, इट इज ए रिकॉर्ड ऑफ ऑडिट प्रोसीजर परफॉर्म्ड। तो अदर 2 पॉइंट्स आपके दिमाग में अपने आप ही आ जाएंगे बिकॉज लिंकेज मेथड आप फॉलो करेंगे। तो सो ट्राई टू डेवलप द हैबिट of linking the things in auditing, and then you will find the subject very easy if you follow the linkage method and go slow. Just apply your mind also, because paper at final level is totally application based paper. So if you apply your mind like this, like I have told you with example, with 2 examples rather, so you would be able to write well in the examination, and believe me, marks will follow. Yes Karna.
Yeah. सो सर ने आपको बहुत अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन किया। और ऑडिट एविडेंस रादर, इसका मैं आपको एक लाइव एग्जांपल देती हूँ, जैसे मैंने आपको बचपन वाला एग्जांपल दिया, सिंस चाइल्डहुड, व्हेन लाइक when we appear for examination, right, and we got our answer sheet, we evaluate, we do audit of that answer sheet, how many marks we got, where our marks are deducted. Sumit, you might have, you are only asking, na, you got 1 mark or 2 mark. You might have got your answer sheet and you might have reviewed it. Why your marks were deducted? Why you got only 1 or 2 marks? So which evidence you referred? You might have referred our study material, maybe suggested answer or some author's book, right? So 500 series, like 500 series deals with audit evidence. When you are going for audit, how you will, because for audit you need to express your opinion. For that it is very, very essential and important to have audit evidence, right? And that particular essay 500 series guides. Of course, Manasvi, I will cover that new series also. Just after 500, we have 600, 700, and I'll definitely cover all the series and will give you how to learn and how to deal with that particular. And of course, for digital audit and assurance and ESG chapter also, right? So I'll definitely tell you. So in essay 500 series, you might have seen that, like, if we refer, when we go for audit,
करुणा मैडम,
हाँ,
1 मिनट में मानसवी के क्वेश्चन का आंसर दे देता हूँ। मानसवी, लाइक आई वाज टेलिंग यू, you are asking please guide how to do new series, this is not able to memorize the, you need not memorize the language, just try to form the linkage and go slow about it. Two principles, golden rules I am telling you about going in auditing, going forward in auditing. Number 1, go slow. Number 2, form linkage method. When you will form, as I have explained you in 2 definitions like audit evidence and audit documentation, if you are able to form linkage, then you would be able to do easily this 800 series, whatever comes in auditing. Yes, Karuna.
So, essay 500 series, each and every specific standard deals with particular part, right? So, in essay 500, particularly audit evidence, how you will collect audit evidence. Sir explained you very nicely what is the meaning of audit evidence and how you will collect and what is sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. All those parts I have already covered. So that all is discussed in essay 500. When we talk of essay 501, means specific consideration for selected items. Like if we talk of inventory, what will happen when you go for audit and in practical situation, right? Inventory is placed at third party, or when it is impracticable to do inventory verification, how you will deal with that particular situation. All those parts are covered in standard, and that particular standards guide you how you will deal with that situation. And when this kind of scenario arise, how we have to go about, like litigation, claims, and all those parts are specifically discussed in essay 501. I'm giving you overview. In case if you have any specific query, you can ask us, or you can write to us through Ask Your Query. And I'm sure you might all have downloaded the mobile app where you can get the recorded sessions in our live virtual classes, live learning classes, which are BoS organized in the morning and evening. These classes are there. Then you all means MTP is also you can download from the same notes, MCQs, and all those like Saransh booklet, all the study material, RTP, everything is available on the mobile app. So I'm sure you might have downloaded the mobile app, because if we need to communicate to you anything, maybe it will through the BOS knowledge portal, it will be through announcement, or it will be through the mobile app. So you, and of course, Twitter handle. So you might have downloaded, and you may you have follow on Twitter handle of BOS, right? So then next is it's in our habit also, no? If somebody tells something, we confirm. In fact, after announcement also, we ask certain people that what is the meaning of that? We discuss with that, right? When we go for audit, when practice unit go for audit, and they when debtors or creditors balance or third party confirmation, all those things are presented before you, then what will you do? You will do external confirmation, because it's more reliable, right? And instead of oral, it may be in writing. So then what is negative confirmation request? What is positive confirmation request? And if the confirmation is not received from the third party, how to deal with that also? The particular guidance is given in essay 505, external confirmation, right? Thereafter, when we are going for audit, if it is initial audit engagement, if we are going for audit for the first time, because we got the audit this year only, how we will deal with the opening balances? If there is some prior period, and if there is misstatement, right? So how you will deal with that situation? How you will cover in the your tenure? How you will deal with that particular, whether this misstatement is still there or not? How you will means express your opinion? That all these parts are covered in that particular essay 510. 520 is about analytical procedure. When you are going for audit, how you will analyze, how you will analyze, how you will how you will perform analytical procedure. That guidance is provided in essay 520. Of course, we cannot do full audit. Each and every item cannot be audited. We cannot vouch for everything. So then what we do, we select certain sample, we do sample based audit. So that guidance is given in essay 530, audit sampling. How you will select the sample, if sample size is okay or not, all that part is covered in essay 530. So I am discussing in so much of detail so that your fear about engagement and quality control standards should vanish. Yes, Sumit, inventory verification question was asked in November examination, and when I discussed with certain students, sorry to say, they have not referred essay 501. That is the reason in today's session, I'm specifically discussing about each and every engagement and quality control standard, its importance, so that they can understand why this standard is particularly very, very important. Because when we go for audit, these kind of situation arises, and where is that guidance given? So we need to refer that particular at final level. It is very important that we are aware which part is covered in which standard.
One thing I wanted Many students are asking the same question. Sir, madam, we are unable to remember the number. Madam is emphasizing on कि essays number are
Number and name,
important.
definitely, very
Name and
important.
number is important to be quoted in the while you write your examination. Students, I ask you a simple question. आपको आगे से ऐसे का मैंने कभी याद नहीं किया, मेरे को सारे याद हैं. आई हैव नेवर लर्न द नंबर सेक्शन, लेकिन मुझे सारे याद हैं. एक सिंपल क्वेश्चन मैं आपसे पूछूंगा और आगे से आपको हमेशा याद रहेगा, और मैं आपको तरीका बताऊंगा याद करने का. सिंपल क्वेश्चन है आपका, आप अभी आंसर खुद दोगे उसका. और मेरा क्वेश्चन आपसे ये है कि आपके हाउस नंबर क्या है. आप अपना हाउस नंबर मुझे बता दो क्या है. कोई स्टूडेंट ऐसा है जिसको हाउस नंबर अपना पता नहीं है, वो तो ठीक है, मैं उसको एग्जम्प्ट कर देता हूँ कि आप नंबर मत लर्न करना. अब आपको वो नंबर क्यों याद है? कोई आप रोज रट्टा मार रहे हो क्या उसको कि मेरा हाउस नंबर 700 है, 705 है, 601 है? क्या हाउस नंबर है आपका? नंबर 10 है क्या 11 है? आपको ऑटोमेटिकली वो याद है ना. क्यों याद है? मैं तो एक क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा हूँ, क्यों याद है वो आपको? वाई यू हैव रिमेम्बर्ड दैट? बिकॉज आप उस घर में रहते हो. सिंपल आंसर है स्टूडेंट्स इसका, आप उस घर में, बिकॉज यू आर रिजाइडिंग इन दैट पर्टिकुलर हाउस, इसलिए आपको याद हो गया. तो आप ऐसे में कभी रहते तो नहीं है. आप तो वो सर ने कराया, आपने वीडियो सुनी, बस खत्म, वहां से गायब. जस्ट आप उसको ओपन बुक को, स्टडी मटेरियल को ओपन करके उसके टेस्ट और अंडरस्टैंडिंग क्वेश्चन करो, उससे रिलेटेड एग्जांपल सजेस्टेड आंसर के क्वेश्चन करो. उस एसे में का ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है वो देखो, उस एसे में डेफिनेशन पार्ट देखो. वो पर्टिकुलर एसे में जब आप स्टूडेंट, कम से कम मैं आपको आई एश्योर यू, एक बार 2 आवर्स एक एसे में आप रह के देख लो, और आगे से आप वो ऐसे का नंबर लाइफ लॉन्ग भी अगर भूल गए तो आप मुझे बोल देना आके. 2 आवर्स कह रहा हूँ, सिर्फ, ज्यादा नहीं कह रहा. एक पर्टिकुलर ऐसे में अगर आप 2 आवर्स रह जाओगे ना वहां पे, उसको कि ये ऐसे 500 में ये लिखा हुआ है, ऐसे 500 का ऑब्जेक्टिव है, ऐसे 500 का स्कोप है, तो फिर नंबर याद रखना आपको मुश्किल नहीं लगेगा. बिलीव मी, आप एक बार ये मेथड करके देखो जो मैंने समझाया आपको, और फिर मेरे ख्याल से किसी स्टूडेंट की ये क्वेरी नहीं आएगी कि हमें नंबर लर्न नहीं होता. और अगर आपको अपना हाउस नंबर लर्न है, या अपना मोबाइल फोन नंबर लर्न है, आपको अपना व्हीकल का नंबर भी, नंबर तो आपको लर्न हो जाते हैं, लेकिन सिर्फ वो इसी टेक्निक से होते हैं कि आप उसमें रहते हो, आप उसको यूज करते हो नंबर को, तो नंबर ऑटोमेटिकली आपका पार्ट बन जाता है. तो आपने एसेस को इतनी जल्दी से, आप कहते हो कि 2 मिनट बस उसका नाम याद करके आप आगे चल पड़ते हो, तो इसलिए आपको कभी मेमोरी का पार्ट बनता ही नहीं है. सो ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड द मैकेनिज्म. इस अगर मेरे वाले तरीके से आप करोगे तो बड़ी जल्दी आपको ऐसे के नंबर याद होने शुरू हो जाएंगे.
तो ध्यान रखना कि मंजिलें भी जिद्दी है, रास्ते भी जिद्दी हैं,
और मैं भी जिद्दी हूँ.
देखते हैं कल क्या होगा, हौसले भी तो जिद्दी है ना.
मैं
तो
भी
ये
जिद्दी हूँ.
मैं भी
आपको
जिद्दी
याद
हूँ.
करवा के ही छोड़ूंगा नंबर.
तो अगर हमारे हौसलों में दम है तो कुछ भी असंभव नहीं है.
ये स्टूडेंट,
बस
ट्राई ट्राई टू फॉलो जो मैडम ने आपको क्या हौसले वाला जो बताया है, आप वो वाला करके देखो. और ये मेरा वाला मेथड आप करके देखोगे ना, लिंकेज मेथड, अगर आपने कर लिया, और अगर आपने ये उसमें थोड़ी देर रह जाओगे आप, तो नंबर लर्निंग विल नॉट बी ए प्रॉब्लम फॉर यू.
राइट. सो वन थिंग, दैट इज द रीजन हम लोग आज पूरा डिटेल में डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, ताकि आप समझो कि ये स्टैंडर्ड क्यों इंपॉर्टेंट है. इसलिए उसको उसके नाम के साथ, नंबर के साथ हम उसको हैबिट में, लाइक अगर हम भीड़ में जाते हैं तो हमें कितने सारे लोग मिलते हैं, राइट? 100 लोग, 200 लोग, हम दिन में बहुत सारे लोगों से मिलते हैं. बट व्हेन यू कम टू नो दैट this particular person is president of India, or this particular person is president of ICAI, or this particular person is faculty for auditing subject, and our weaker area is auditing subject, definitely we'll try to interact with that person, and that person will be in our memory. So that is the reason I started with these words only, ki give importance to auditing subject. Don't take it easy. Don't go for shortcut. Don't compromise with this subject. And particularly when we are aware that this particular person, मतलब जब हमें पता चल जाए कि यार ऑडिटिंग सब्जेक्ट की फैकल्टी एरिया में ऑडिट पे गाइड करके हमें पास करवा सकती है, या ये पर्टिकुलर एक सेक्शन है जिसकी वेटेज 52 to 62 मार्क्स है, और ये पर्टिकुलर सेक्शन अगर मैं ढंग से कर लूं तो मैं ऑडिट में पास हो सकता हूँ या हो सकती हूँ। मैं क्या करूंगी, पर्टिकुलरली उस सेक्शन को अच्छे से कवर करूंगी, राइट? So same way, we need to give importance to these engagement and quality control standard. It is very, very important, not only statutory point of view, but also, of course, I told you your future of our profession, and you should be knowing about what is the standards.
तो अभी
And we
मैडम
need
ने
to follow that.
अभी मैडम ने आपको एक बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट लाइन जल्दी में बोल दी कि शॉर्टकट ना करो। बहुत अच्छी लाइन बोली स्टूडेंट, मैं थोड़ा सा इलेबोरेट करना पसंद करता हूँ, क्योंकि अगर आप उसको, मैडम ने तो बोल के और मैडम आगे जा रहे हैं, तो शायद आप उसको स्किप कर जाओ। तो शॉर्टकट ना लगाओ आप इसमें, इस सब्जेक्ट में। आप दो बातें कितनी इंपॉर्टेंट बोली देखो, एक तो शॉर्टकट ना यूज करो, एक ऑडिटिंग को आप इंपॉर्टेंस देना शुरू करो। दो बातें, इसको मैं थोड़ा सा आपको समझाऊंगा। इसको प्रैक्टिकली इंप्लीमेंट कैसे, इम्प्लीमेंटिंग सबसे ज्यादा जो स्टूडेंट्स आप मार खा जाते हो ना, इम्प्लीमेंटेशन में खाया। आपके माइंड में तो 100 चीजें हैं, लेकिन आप उन्हें इम्प्लीमेंट करते ही नहीं हो। तो इसको इम्प्लीमेंटेशन शुरू करो। ऑडिटिंग को कैसे शॉर्टकट नहीं लगाना, एक तो इसको स्लो करना है। इसका दूसरा, अगर मैं अदर अदर वे राउंड बोलूंगा, तो आप स्लो करो और लिंकेज मेथड फॉर्म करके करो। तो ये जो शॉर्टकट है ना, फिर आपका शॉर्टकट वाली बात खत्म हो जाएगी। इसका मतलब, और तरीका क्या है, ये तरीका है आपका, आप स्लो चलो और लिंकेज बना के करो, सो दैट थिंग्स गेट एस्टेब्लिश्ड इन योर माइंड, एंड व्हेन द क्वेश्चन अपीयर्स इन द एग्जामिनेशन, यू विल बी
जी,
एबल टू राइट विद फुल 100% कॉन्फिडेंस। तो ये चीज करो आप। यस,
ठीक है ना। पानी को बर्फ में बदलने में वक्त लगता है, और सूरज को निकलने में भी वक्त लगता है। तो हमें भी थोड़ी मेहनत करनी होगी, और इम्पोर्टेंस को आइडेंटिफाई करके उसको लर्निंग करनी है, उसको टाइम अलोकेट करना है। तभी हमें सक्सेसफुल होने के लिए भी हमारा टाइम इन्वेस्ट करना है, राइट? सो मूविंग टुवर्ड्स ऐसे 540, दैट इज ऑडिटिंग अकाउंटिंग एस्टिमेट्स इंक्लूडिंग फेयर वैल्यू अकाउंटिंग एस्टिमेट्स एंड रिलेटेड डिस्क्लोजर्स। तो जब हम ऑडिट के लिए जाते हैं, तो at many instances you might have observed that we work on estimates basis. That is the reason we include fair value accounting estimates and related disclosures. So that part is covered in essay 540, how you will deal with the accounting estimates and how you will audit those estimates, say whether that estimates are correct or not, whether that fair value accounting estimates are okay or not, and whether related to that all the disclosures are being covered or not. And all these will form part of your audit documentation, because documentation is very, very important. If you have not documented, it means you have not audited. Then related parties. When we deal with with our relative, when like some influence is always there, na? Right? When I'm talking with you, right? And when I'm talking with my children or my parents, some influence is there. Maybe so what that influence we need to check, and for that SA 550 related party deals with that particular situation. When the transactions are done by the company or by the firm with related parties, how they have, whether it's at arm's length price or not, and whether appropriate proper disclosure is being there or not. If it is not, then how our opinion will be expressed. So all those guidance is given in essay 550. When the question is being posed in the examination, it should click in your mind that there is AS also on related party, there is Ind AS also, there is essay also, and in law also there is particular section, and Caro also deals with that particular part. So auditing is in multidisciplinary subject. So you need to integrate those parts also, because then only you'll be able to answer. Then next is, you have completed your audit. You are preparing your audit report, right, after 31st March. Suppose fire occurs, or some mishappening, or some very important incident happens. So for that subsequent event, which is after the balance sheet date and before the audit report, how auditor will deal with that particular situation, that guidance is given in essay 560 subsequent event. And 570, of course, very, very important, because it is very important to comment whether the entity is going concern or not. So that guidance is given in that. And written representation. Written representation. Who provides written representation? I say 580 guides on that part. So when we, from management, we take some written representation. So this particular essay 500 series is relating to audit evidence, and each and every standard is very, very unique and very, very important and guide you on certain specific circumstances, right? And on this series we have covered chapter, and you might have seen that in that particular chapter it is given that since these standards, particularly like 505, 510, these are covered at intermediate level, right? So at final level only application and analysis part will be asked. So in examination on from these particular standards which are covered at intermediate level, these are definitely covered in your syllabus, and question can be asked from these standards. But of course, the question will not be simple or knowledge based. It will be purely application based. You can revise with the help of Saransh booklet. You can refer the standards web hosted on BoS knowledge portal. You can refer that. Now moving towards SS600 series. Yeah.
मैडम ये जो क्वेश्चन वरुण अग्रवाल कर रहे हैं,
Is one pager note for inter-based essay enough or more need to be done?
तो आप इसमें ना इसको एक बार क्लैरिफाई कर दो स्टूडेंट्स को क्या मेरे को तो लगता नहीं कि ऐसा डिस्टिंक्शन होएगा.
One pager notes for inter-based essay enough.
Inter-based essay.
Actually, when I told you at the initial stage only that for particular standard, when you need to identify, if you are able to memorize an intermediate level is in your brain, it's very good. But if you feel that you missed something, because when you will be appearing in the examination, it will be application and analysis part. So you need to apply that knowledge particularly. So you need to revise that. Of course, flowchart is good for revision. And we have also covered in the form of flowchart in the Saransh booklet, but I never tell student to refer that only particularly, because I always advise to the student that they should read at least BEAR standard. Our engagement and quality control standards are divided into two parts. One is standards, BEAR standard, and second is application and explanatory material, which is being like BEAR standard is explained in the application and explanatory material. So students are required to read the standard carefully, and then you can use that Saransh booklet or you can use those flowcharts which we have given in study material for your reference. But when you will prepare your own notes or your own flowcharts, it will be very helpful for you. So that's why I told you, when you are preparing your flowchart, you cover what is the number of essay. So for that also memorizing, I told you about the series. Essay 200 is what, essay 300 is what, essay 500 deals with audit evidence, 600 is using the work of other. Then after that, you can interlink it with other remaining essays, right? In essay 500, we are having like 11 essays. So what is the name of those 11 essays? What is being covered? So you should be aware the which essay is particularly talking about that. Then you have covered objective and scope in your notes. Objective and scope will help you in identifying what is being asked in the question, whether that particular standard will be applicable, because generally students find this difficulty that they are not able to understand which standard will be particularly applicable in that question. One more important point which I will be covering and then I told you what is the auditor's role, responsibility should be covered, and reporting requirement, and that particular standard. Like in each standard, there is some unique feature. Like for external confirmation, I told you about positive request and a negative confirmation request. In each and every standard, there is some specific feature which is being discussed. So for that particular specific feature, you need to include it in your notes. Okay, now you have completed your standard. The one thing which I observed is the students who are not doing writing practice are generally getting lesser marks. So for getting good marks, it is very important to do writing practice. So when you have completed that particular standard, please try to write it. And after writing, at least read it and compare, because what happens when you come to us or you discuss with us, what is your observation? We have covered everything, but we have not got marks, right? So I'm taking your question also here and others also. Please take note of this because it is very, very important. I'm emphasizing, I'm again repeating, what I'm going to tell is very, very important because this is the particular query which I receive from the students. हमने सब कुछ लिखा था, हमने सब कुछ cover किया, but we have not got marks. सो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज मैं बताने जा रही हूँ कि जो हमारा एग्जाम का पैटर्न है उसमें जनरली जो क्वेश्चन होते हैं इधर इट इज नॉलेज बेस्ड और एप्लीकेशन एनालिसिस बेस्ड और इवेल्युएशन एंड सिंथेसिस बेस्ड. फॉर knowledge based generally we give we tell student if it is for 4 marks you give 4 complete points or small points are there then you need to give 8 points. Now what happens, I told you that you prepare your flow charts, right? You prepare your own notes. Now what you are going to do when we are preparing our own notes or preparing our flow charts or when we are referring any author's book, what is our tendency? We divide one big sentence or we divide one point into 2 3 sub points, and when we revise we take care that these 2 3 sub points are in our brain. Now what happened when we are writing in examination, we forget that what we have done for our convenience, for our better understanding, we have, for learning part, we have segregated that one point into 3 sub-points, right? And this, in our brain, that one point is now divided into 3 sub-points, and that particular question requires 4 points. And when you are writing in the answer, what you have done, that one point which you have divided into 3 sub-points, you have written all those 3 points, and additionally you have written only 1 point. Now, technically, what is happening? Mark allocation is that particular, that 1 point which you have divided into 3 points. That means for that particular 1 point, 1 mark was allocated, right? And what you have done? You have written 4 points. How? Those 3 points which you have segregated from one, those three and additional one, right? How many marks, how much marks you will score? You have attempted only 1.25 marks or 1.33 marks paper. So this is the particular problem when student comes to us. They are getting very lesser marks. Out of 100, they are getting either 30, 20s. They are not able to reach 40 because they are not attending whole paper. So for that particular 4 marks, 4 complete points should be there. So when you are preparing your notes or when you are writing any, referring any author's book, please mark, like you can mark that, 1 second. You can mark that one, like this is just for example, that these points are only one. So while writing an examination, you specifically need to ensure that you have covered 4 marks question. So Sumit, I think I have answered your query.
Yes, करुणा मैडम, एक और क्वेश्चन आंसर मैं दे रहा हूँ स्टूडेंट्स को. अब्बास is asking कि sir, can you please reply to my
MCQ part? I was just thinking to cover the syllabus importance and
actually
then
we have not given reasons in favor of correct answer or incorrect answer. करेक्ट आंसर के लिए पीछे हमने रीजन नहीं बताया, या इनकरेक्ट भी अगर आपको उसमें से फाइंड आउट करना है कौन सा, उसके पीछे नहीं बताया हमने रीजन. तो स्टूडेंट्स, आप मैं एमसीक्यू सॉल्व कैसे करते हो, सबसे बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट चीज ये है. फर्स्ट, माय एडवाइस टू ऑल ऑफ यू इज फर्स्ट, just in deep, have a deeper analysis, deeper understanding of the entire chapter which you are studying. The essays involved in that chapter, covered in that chapter, just have deeper understanding, like I was telling you earlier. So go slow and have linkage method. By linkage method, understand all the things first, and then you solve the MCQ, then you go to the MCQ part. And when you do MCQ, don't just try to jump to the answer. Analyze each and every option, and I assure you, believe me, you will be able to solve each and every MCQ which is covered in the module, each and every MCQ, और आपका करेक्ट ही आएगा आंसर. ठीक है, तो रीजन तो रीजन तो उल्टा आपको चैप्टर के अंदर से ढूंढना चाहिए. जस्ट ट्राई टू फाइंड आउट द रीजन फ्रॉम द चैप्टर. At least this much of effort you need to do. Right, Abbas? Hopefully, I have answered your question.
So,
तो अगर आप ये वाला मेथड करोगे कि रीजन आप खुद फाइंड आउट करो और उसे लिख लो, तो आपकी नॉलेज जो विजडम है अबाउट ऑडिटिंग वो बहुत अच्छे लेवल पे पहुंच जाएगी. यस.
so this particular part you need to ensure
अब
when you are writing in
विराज देसाई का एक करूँगा, आप आंसर कर देना कि ऑडिट प्रोनाउंसमेंट.
वो मैं भी बताती हूँ.
हाँ,
सो पहले इनको मार्क्स वाला
right.
जो
बता
इम्पोर्टेंट
दो.
पॉइंट है, बिकॉज जनरली स्टूडेंट्स यही बोलते हैं कि हमारे इससे ज्यादा मार्क्स ही नहीं आते. तो द मेन कॉमन एरर which I observed when I interacted with the students or when they discuss how they have attempted and when they come to us, I have observed that they have not attended the whole question paper. So this is the main issue which I have observed, which I have shared with you. So hopefully this part you will take care in this examination so that you can get good marks and at least you are able to understand the requirement of the question and you're writing complete answer. So very important is complete answer should be there. It should not be when you have prepared your notes for your convenience or you are referring any flow chart or any page for that, then of course it's for your convenience, but for examination you need to give all those 4 points. You can write in your own words. It's not essential that you are writing in the same rectification and same word to word should be there. You can write in your own language with some certain technical terms which are definitely required to be used. But complete point should be there. And when you attend that situation-based question or scenario-based question, you need to ensure that, yes, I have given the relevant provision, explanation, fact of the case of the question, and I have interlinked it with that situation, and then I have given the conclusion, because for conclusion also specific marks are being allocated. So please ensure that if the question is scenario based, you need to give the sequence like fact of the case, provision and explanation, interlinking with the same, and conclusion part. And when there is knowledge based question, or in any of the question you are required to write 4 points or 8 points, those points should be complete. Whether you are studying with the help of study material or any other author's book or any flow charts, your answer should be complete. What is the requirement of the question? You need to understand, accordingly your answer should be complete. It should not be partially attended. That is the reason you are getting partial marks. You complain that I have written everything is correct, but everything is correct definitely because you have made note 1 point, you have divided into 3 points. Those 3 points are correct, but that 1 mark is only allocated to that particular point. So this part you need to definitely take care when you are writing in the examination. Okay, so that is the reason. The problem is, yes, I have attended, everything is correct, my answer sheet is purely correct, but I am not getting marks. The main reason behind the same is because you are not attending. And one more thing, when I interacted with the student, 2 points also I have observed. One is they are not reading the question carefully. So sometimes if the question, there are 2 questions there are in the question paper, they missed second part. So if it is divided into like it is for 4 marks or 2 marks are allocated to for that particular section. So that particular section when you have not attempted, so 2 marks are gone. And third thing, when they come to us, they are telling the correct answer, but what they are telling is not reflecting in their answer. They have written something else. So whatever you are communicating should be reflected in your answer sheet. For that, it is very essential and important to have writing practice. So after completing any particular standard or any particular topic, please identify the questions, write that particular question, at least 1 to 2 question if you are having writing practice. In examination, first thing, you will never face time management problem. You will be having writing habit, and once you are analyzing that which part I have missed, when you will be writing in examination, those points will click in your brain and you will be able to write effective and complete answer. Definitely, You will see the difference. You are getting very good marks and you can get back to me for that. And that is my promise that if you are having writing practice and you are analyzing the same, you will get the marks for that particular part. So after 500 series, we are having 600 series that specifically talk about using work of others. It may be another auditor, using the work of internal auditor, or using the work of an auditor's expert, because it is not possible that everything we are only doing. So when we go for audit, sometimes branches are there, like for the company, branches are there, subsidiary company are there, associates are there. So for that, you are not, you, it is not feasible sometimes that you are only the auditor for everything, right? So when you are using the work of another auditor, how you will deal?
Example है इसका.
हाँ, lot many banks are there. So
banks की तो branches है ना, तो
हाँ,
auditor होता ही होता है.
so for that, you need to use the work of that auditor. So how you will deal? How you will ensure that that particular auditor is competent enough, whether they have covered everything. Then secondly, using the work of internal auditor. When we can use the work of internal auditor? Hmm? Whether we can have direct assistance from the internal auditor or we cannot. For significant judgment or where risk of material misstatement is involved, whether we can use the internal auditor. So that guidance is also discussed in essay 610, that how you will ensure that the work completed by internal auditor is competent enough that you can handle, you can use that. And of course, we are chartered accountant, we are expert, but not in every field. So if there is valuation or some other areas, we need to use the work of experts. So for experts, whether the responsibility of auditor will not be there, no, the auditor's responsibility will be there. For opinion express, whether they are using the, rather than they are using the work of auditor's expert, but still responsibility remains with the auditor. And where it is written, this part is discussed in essay 620 of the engagement and quality control standards, right? So, and when we are using the work of expert, whether that expert is management's expert or auditor's expert, if it is management's expert, then it will be essay 500. If it is auditor's expert, then essay 620. Whether that expert is competent enough, whether they have applied all the due diligence, the procedures they have followed, which data they have used, what are the assumptions they have considered. So all those parts which we as an auditor need to take care are discussed in essay 620. And very, very important series 700, that is audit report. And when you are studying that audit report chapter, you might have seen that powers and duties of auditor means audit report part related sections of companies at 2013, because the now company audit chapter is gone. It's not in our study material, but that particular part, that is section 143, powers, duties, and audit report related part and CARO related part is covered in that audit report chapter, right? So SA 700 specifically deals 700, 701, 5, 6 means where you will modify the opinion, where you will give disclaimer of opinion, where you will issue adverse opinion, qualified opinion. When we are preparing the audit report, whether we have referred the earlier comparative analysis, means comparative information, corresponding figures, financial statements are comparative, all those parts, and what is the auditor's responsibility in relation to other information, all those parts is discussed in SA 700 series. So till this series you have covered in previous scheme also. Now moving towards, because earlier specialized areas were also covered in the curriculum, but thereafter it was excluded from the syllabus. But now this SA 800 series, SRE, SAE, SRS, all are again back to your syllabus and in form of chapter. And these are very, very important, because if there is some special situation, special consideration, when the financial statements are prepared in accordance with special purpose framework, then how auditor will deal with that specialized area that is covered in your SA 800 series. Or when the special consideration means audit of single financial statement, or for particular specific element or account or item of financial statement. So how auditor will deal with that particular situation is given in essay 805. And if the summary financial statements are there, so for that, how auditor will report. That is covered in essay 810. So all these parts are specifically discussed in essay 800 series. So first you need to understand what is the importance of that particular standard, what is the objective behind that particular standard, and where it is applicable. Like I told you, when the audit of financial statements means financial statements are prepared in accordance with special purpose framework, it should click in your mind that yes, SA 800 will be applicable. And what is given in that particular SA 800, or if it is only single financial statement, or when we are for specific element wali matter is there, then we will, it should click that yes, SA 805 or summary financial statement word, it should click in your brain that yes, SA 810 will be applicable for that. Sir, would you like to explain about SRE, SAE or SRS about this? Yeah.
Sure, sure. So before that, Jitesh, you are asking information, you mentioned evidence. Can we write it sufficient? Sufficiency is the quantity of audit. Sufficiency is the quantity of audit evidence. And whereas appropriate audit evidence, when we talk about audit evidence, so whether the auditor has obtained, we talk in these terms that whether the auditor has obtained sufficient appropriate audit evidence. So sufficiency is the measure of quantity of the audit evidence, whereas appropriateness is the measure of quality of the audit evidence. So this is the thing. So auditor has to obtain in order to substantiate, in order to arrive at the conclusions and thereby forming opinion on that, auditor has to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. And audit evidence is the information used by the auditor in arriving at the conclusions on the basis of which auditor's opinion is based. So, yes, BoS has your question has already been answered by Madam in detail, I think.
And Sridharan is asking, audit and assurance will be tested in paper 6. Yeah, integrated business solution.
It is very much
all core papers are there.
Yes.
So it will be part of that particular subject. But when I see question in exam, whole point mixed up and time taken in recalling the points, how to deal. That is the reason I'm telling you, you need to understand. Like this, when we meet with 100 people and we have not understand the importance and right, then we will definitely be in problem because everything will be mixed. Who is this person? Who is that person? So if you have specifically allocated time and given importance to that particular standard, you study that particular standard, and you have prepared your notes, you have done written practice of the question, this will not be happen with you. The points will not mix, right? So that is the reason I told you, give importance to engagement and quality control standard, prepare your notes, do writing practice and analyze where we are lacking. Kriti is asking in descriptive question of say 4 marks, we wrote for essay, scope, requirement, provision, connect to the case, but forgot to write conclusion. Definitely, Kriti, first of all, so you need to understand what is being asked in the examination. For scope and requirement, so I am telling you to understand what is being asked in the question. Like for inventory verification was asked in the November 23 examination. I'm just giving example because that is also applicable for this May 24 examination also. So for in that particular question, what student did, they have given general answer, only essay 500. They have not referred essay 501. That part is specifically dealt in essay 501. That is the reason I'm telling you, you need to understand what is the scope and objective. So that is one part. It will help you in understanding and analyzing which standard is applicable. Second, you need to understand the requirement of the question, right? What is being asked in the question, you need to understand that part. And according to that, you need to give answer, right? For situation-based question, conclusion is very, very important. And generally, it carries 1 mark. Minimum 1 mark. Generally, it carries minimum 1 mark, right? And if you have written all the relevant points, but you forgot to conclude, then definitely if the 1 mark is allocated, you will miss that 1 mark. Or if it is more than 1 mark, then of course, you will miss that part, right? So then you need to understand what is the requirement of question, what is being asked. First, you need to understand that. That is the reason I'm again emphasizing, do writing practice, or otherwise you do mock test paper, evaluate your mock test paper. Don't see that we have written everything is coming out correct, but see whether it is stepwise also being covered, and where we are lacking, where we need to put in more efforts, where emphasis is required, and where improvement is required, which topic we need to put in more efforts. Okay, and the questions where we are committing mistakes and the questions where major provisions are covered, you need to note down in one notebook. So when you are going for examination, that 1 day's duration, along with your revision, you need to refer all those important questions where you are generally committing mistake. Okay, after doing it twice or thrice also, if you are committing mistake, you need to revise that question particularly. And those questions where major provisions are being covered, you are revising that questions also, so that in examination, if that kind of question are being asked, you are able to answer, right? Then one more thing, can you tell us the difference between SRE, SRS and SAE? First, so you need to understand what is the name, right? SRE, Standards on Review Engagement, right? So, sir, would you like to? Yeah.
Yes, students, before having a discussion on these SREs, then SAEs and other things, SRS. Students, we need to understand what is an assurance engagement in itself. Assurance engagement is basically an engagement in which practitioners, say auditor, for example, it is only, where a practitioner expresses a conclusion, and how a conclusion is arrived at. A conclusion is arrived at on the basis of evidence, sufficient appropriate audit evidence. तो assurance engagement ही क्या होता है? बहुत important है students. Assurance engagement is an engagement in which a practitioner, say auditor, expresses a conclusion designed to enhance the degree of confidence of the intended users of the financial statements. But other than responsible party, I will explain to you who is the responsible party, means who has prepared the financial statements, that is the responsible party. About the outcome of evaluation or measurement of a subject matter against a given criteria. So it is basically in any assurance engagement, there are three parties who are involved in. One is practitioner, say auditor, chartered accountant, responsible party, and intended users. Intended users can be shareholders, banks can be intended user, government is intended user because an entity has to pay taxes on the income, and other things should be correctly arrived at. So intended users, then with practitioner, intended user, and responsible party means who prepares the financial statement, who is responsible for the preparation of the financial statements. Responsible party is the party who is responsible for the preparation of subject matter. Subject matter means the matter on which auditor gathers evidence and thereby he forms his opinion. So appropriate subject matter is the financial information contained in the financial statement. That is the subject matter. And suitable criteria used to evaluate the subject matter against like standards, guidance, rules on the basis of which he proceeds. So this is what an assurance engagement is. Audit, if I take an example of this, audit is an example of assurance engagement. And in audit, as you all are aware, only reasonable assurance engagement. It is an example of reasonable assurance. Now, what is reasonable assurance? Reasonable assurance is high level assurance, but it is not an absolute assurance. It is not complete assurance. 100% assurance nahi deta students audit. It is a higher level of assurance, of course. And for giving that assurance, auditor collects various sufficient appropriate audit evidence, as I was talking, applies sufficient audit procedures so that he collects the information which he wants to, and then he forms conclusions and thereby he gives opinion. So there is one reasonable assurance engagement. So audit is an example of reasonable assurance engagement. So in reasonable assurance engagement, auditor applies elaborate and extensive procedures. And another is limited assurance engagement. यहां से आपको स्टूडेंट समझ आएगा जो SREs, SRS. So limited assurance engagement provides lower level of assurance in comparison to reasonable assurance engagement. Limited assurance engagement, the level of assurance here is a bit low level of assurance than reasonable, but it is also an assurance engagement, limited assurance engagement. And for arriving at for giving limited assurance engagement, auditors performs fewer audit procedures in comparison to reasonable assurance engagement. Example of limited assurance engagement is review of interim financial statements. So review is example. So standards on auditing. Now, having understood that there is reasonable assurance, audit is an example of reasonable assurance, and then limited assurance का example क्या students? Review. So now if I standards on auditing. Now, having this background, now you can understand each and everything about engagement and quality control standards. First is standards on auditing. करुणा मैडम ने इतने सारे आपको एग्जांपल दे के सारा समझा दिया. तो स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन ऑडिटिंग अप टू 800 मैडम ने सारे कवर कर लिए, उसमें तो कुछ रहा नहीं. मूविंग फर्दर स्टूडेंट्स, स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन रिव्यू एंगेजमेंट्स. स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन रिव्यू एंगेजमेंट्स which apply, please remember, in review of historical financial information. ये बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है. तो स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन रिव्यू एंगेजमेंट, ये हिस्टोरिकल फाइनेंशियल, दो तरह की इंफॉर्मेशन होगी. हिस्टोरिकल फाइनेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन विच हैज ऑलरेडी हैपेंड इन द पास्ट, हिस्टोरिकल है. तो ये आपको दो टर्म्स और इसके लिए आपको क्लैरिटी होनी चाहिए. एक तो हिस्टोरिकल फाइनेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन, एक होती है प्रोस्पेक्टिव फाइनेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन, मतलब प्रोजेक्टेड ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ हैपनिंग्स ऑफ फ्यूचर इवेंट्स, जो फ्यूचर में आने वाला है. जैसे प्रोजेक्टेड डाटा मैं दे रहा हूं, ये कहां पे दिया जाता है? जैसे मैं कोई इंडस्ट्री लगा रहा हूं स्टूडेंट्स, जैसे मैं कोई इंडस्ट्री लगा रहा हूं और मैं कह रहा हूं कि मैं बैंक को कहता हूं मुझे 100 करोड़ की फंडिंग दो और 20 करोड़ मैं अपना लगाऊंगा. और तो बैंक 100 करोड़ की फंडिंग मुझे ऐसे नहीं दे देगा. बैंक कहेगा 5 साल में आप कितना टर्नओवर करोगे, कितनी आपकी कैपिटल इन्वेस्टमेंट होगी, कितना आप एक्सपेंड करोगे और कितने आपके प्रॉफिट्स होंगे, ताकि हमारा जो हमने लोन आपको फंडिंग करी है वो वापस आ सके पैसा. बैंक इज इंटरेस्टेड इन, बैंक ने अगर मुझे फंडिंग किया तो बैंक अपना पैसा वापस ही भी चाहता है ना स्टूडेंट. तो प्रोस्पेक्टिव, मैं बैंक को क्या करता हूँ, ये चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स ही प्रोजेक्ट रिपोर्ट देते हैं बैंक को, तो प्रोजेक्टेड डाटा आ जाता है प्रोस्पेक्टिव फाइनेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन. तो प्रोस्पेक्टिव फाइनेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन हम चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स जो देते हैं वो भी मैं अभी आपको समझाऊंगा, अभी वो उससे रिलेटेड भी मैटर आएगा. तो दो तरह की इंफॉर्मेशन, व्हाट आई एम गोइंग टू कंक्लूड इज, दो तरह की इंफॉर्मेशन होती है. एक तो प्रोस्पेक्टिव फाइनेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन होती है, हिस्टोरिकल फाइनेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन. So standards on review engagements, please remember that's very important point. Standards on review engagement apply in review of historical financial information. Standards on auditing भी students historical financial information पर apply होते. So far as historical, अब ये prospective की भी बात नहीं कर रहा मैं. तो standards on review engagements, इसमें SR standards on review apply in context of review of historical financial information statements. So or review is a limited assurance engagement. ये भी आपको ध्यान रखना है. यहाँ पे limited assurance ऑडिटर दे सकता है, और limited assurance क्या, lower level of assurance है. It is in comparison to reasonable assurance क्या, higher level of assurance, but it is not complete insurance in itself. तो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट बातें मैं आपको समझा रहा हूँ, और अगर आपको कोई डाउट है तो आप जरूर मुझे अभी बात में और एलेबोरेट कर दूंगा. तो स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन रिव्यू एंगेजमेंट की बात, आपको इसमें दो बातें आप याद रख लीजिए. एक तो हिस्टोरिकल फाइनेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन जहां पे होगी, स्टेटमेंट्स होंगी, वहां पे रिव्यू लगेगा, रिव्यू एंगेज SRE एप्लीकेबल होंगे. और दूसरा इसमें लिमिटेड इंश्योरेंस एंगेजमेंट है. लिमिटेड इंश्योरेंस, इसका बहुत बड़ा एग्जांपल इसका जो SRE जो एप्लीकेशन होएगा एंगेजमेंट टू रिव्यू ऑफ हिस्टोरिकल फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स, दैट इज SRE 2400। और फिर 2410 रिव्यू ऑफ इंटरिम फाइनेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन परफॉर्म्ड बाय इंडिपेंडेंट ऑडिटर ऑफ द एंटिटी। और ये ऑडिटर जो ऑडिटर होता है, स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिटर, वही परफॉर्म करता है। तो आई होप SRE, करुणा मैडम, होपफुली SRE मेरे ख्याल से स्टूडेंट्स को क्लियर हो गए होंगे भी, मैंने SRE समझाए हैं।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल।
तो आई होप इसमें कोई डाउट नहीं रहा होगा।
So, student, if you want to understand in detail, because we are running short of time and we have to cover important
नहीं,
two
मैं
more new topics.
तो
One is digital auditing and assurance and ESG
नो
वाला
प्रॉब्लम,
part.
मैं बस जल्दी से कंक्लूड कर देता हूँ।
हाँ,
स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन मूविंग फर्दर, स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन रिव्यू एंगेजमेंट स्टूडेंट्स आपको क्लियर हो गए। स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन एश्योरेंस एंगेजमेंट, आगे मैं बात कर रहा हूँ स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन एश्योरेंस एंगेजमेंट। There is another set which apply in insurance engagement dealing with subject matter other than historical। insurance engagement में अब आप नोट कर लीजिए, आप नोटबुक और पेन से ये चीजें नोट कर लो, मैं बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट समझा रहा हूं। स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन इंश्योरेंस एंगेजमेंट्स अदर देन हिस्टोरिकल फाइनेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन पर अप्लाई होते हैं। इसकी एप्लीकेशन का पहला ही वो ये है, अगर आपने समझ लिया कि अदर देन हिस्टोरिकल फाइनेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन पर अप्लाई होंगे। सच एश्योरेंस एंगेजमेंट्स डू नॉट इंक्लूड ऑडिट और रिव्यू, इसमें शामिल नहीं होगा। इट डजंट इंक्लूड ऑडिट और रिव्यू ऑफ हिस्टोरिकल फाइनेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन। सो दीज स्टैंडर्ड्स आर नोन एज स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन एश्योरेंस एंगेजमेंट्स। इसका एग्जांपल है, और ये प्रोस्पेक्टिव फाइनेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन, प्रोस्पेक्टिव मतलब जो फ्यूचर में इन फ्यूचर से रिलेटेड इंफॉर्मेशन, जैसे प्रोजेक्टेड डाटा में आपको तुम्हें कि फ्यूचर के अंदर मेरे कैश फ्लोज कितने आने वाले हैं, तो उसके वो कैसे ऑडिटर करेगा? ऑडिटर को स्टूडेंट्स उसमें जो एंटिटी है कुछ अजम्पशंस देती है, तो अजम्पशंस ऑडिटर को ये देखना पड़ता है कि क्या वेदर रीजनेबल अजम्पशंस आर अराइव्ड एट टू अराइव एट द डाटा, जो डाटा मुझे प्रोवाइड किया जा रहा है वो रीजनेबल होना चाहिए और सूटेबल अजम्पशंस होने चाहिए। दो बातें इसमें ध्यान रखना कि सूटेबल, रीजनेबल होना चाहिए डाटा और सूटेबल अजम्पशंस होने चाहिए। अजम्पशंस अनरियलिस्टिक ना हो, एग्जम्पशंस जो एजम्पशंस लिए फ्यूचर डाटा को प्रोजेक्ट करने के लिए वो रीजनेबल होने चाहिए एजम्पशंस, और बहुत ही रियलिस्टिक होने चाहिए, अनरियलिस्टिक ना हो। एश्योरेंस एंगेजमेंट्स के दो स्टैंडर्ड हैं स्टूडेंट्स, रादर 3 हैं। 3400 SAE 3400 which is on examination of prospective financial information, एंड SA 3402 भी है, वो preparation of internal operation of design and operation of internal control in an entity service।
yeah. And 3420 is also there. That is
Assurance
assurance engagement to report on the compilation of pro forma financial
pro
information.
forma financial information included in the prospectus,
And that is particularly included in the
तो
prospectus.
होपफुली SAEs जो है आपको क्लियर हो गए होंगे। अब SRS के बारे में एक बात याद रख लीजिए, आपको बहुत अच्छे समझ में आएगा कि ये नॉन एश्योरेंस एंगेजमेंट, इसमें ऑडिटर एश्योरेंस नहीं देता, नॉन एश्योरेंस होता है। इट इज नॉन
रिलेटेड सर्विसेज है।
हाँ, रिलेटेड
यहाँ रिलेटेड सर्विसेज प्रोवाइड हो रही है, SRS स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन
और
रिलेटेड
नॉन एश्योरेंस।
services।
यहाँ पे ऑडिटर एश्योरेंस नहीं देता, तो यहाँ पे रीजनेबल एश्योरेंस, लिमिटेड एश्योरेंस का कंसेप्ट खत्म हो जाता है। यहाँ पे ऑडिटर, यहाँ पे स्टूडेंट्स जो है ये नॉन एश्योरेंस है। तो लेकिन रिपोर्ट जरूर आती है, ये ना इसका मीनिंग निकालना कि रिपोर्ट जाएगी, और रिपोर्ट जो है वो सिर्फ फैक्चुअल फैक्ट्स के ऊपर होती है, बस ये फैक्ट्स हैं जो मैंने दे दिए हैं। जैसे कंपाइलेशन एंगेजमेंट इसका बेस्ट एग्जांपल है। और इसका
और एग्रीड अपॉन प्रोसीजर।
आपको ऑडिट, आपको एक क्लाइंट है, क्लाइंट कहता है जी मेरे को तो बैलेंस शीट बनानी नहीं आ रही, शेड्यूल 3 के हिसाब से आप ही बना दो, तो ये एंगेजमेंट होती है कंपाइलेशन एंगेजमेंट इस तरह की। और SRS 4400 दिस इज एंगेजमेंट टू परफॉर्म एग्रीड अपॉन प्रोसीजर्स। राइटिंग में हम क्लाइंट के साथ एग्रीमेंट करेंगे कि ये एग्रीड अपॉन प्रोसीजर्स हैं, यही ऑडिटर परफॉर्म करेगा डेटर्स को चेक करने के लिए या क्रेडिटर्स को, व्हाटसोएवर द असाइनमेंट इज। यस करुणा मैडम, होपफुली स्टूडेंट्स आपको मैंने काफी कोशिश की है कम समय के अंदर ये समझाने की, फिर भी आपको कोई डाउट हो तो आप पूछ सकते हैं।
So till the time we have covered 1 to 11 chapters, right? Those are purely based on engagement and quality control standard, starting with SQC1, SA200, this SA220 quality control, and ending with chapter 11 right? In that, all these 11 chapters, I have already told you that this weightage is 45% to 55%, and it means it is 52 to 62 marks. And for passing, we need only 40 marks. So it's very, very crucial and very important. So please don't ignore these 46 standards. Now, strategy, if you want to cover the standard in detail, I will never suggest you do study only for 5 to 7 days, only audit, and then you leave it, and thereafter again after 10 days or 15 days you are again taking this subject. It's always good to study this subject daily. At least 1 to 2 hours you should allocate to this particular subject each day. At least 1 to 2 standard you can do. You read that standard, you prepare the notes, and you do writing practice. Next day you revise that particular standard and do next standard, right? And next day again third revision will be there. So what happened if I met you today? After 20 days or 1 hour, 1 month later, I'll be putting pressure on my brain that who are you? But if I met you today, tomorrow, and day after tomorrow, then if I'll meet you after 15 days or 20 days, it will definitely be my brain will be relaxed. So it's better to have 3 simultaneous revision, because it will, एक तो आपको मेहनत कम करनी पड़ेगी, कम टाइम में your time will be saved, और आप जल्दी से उसको रिवाइज कर पाओगे, है ना? So after 10-15 days when you will be covering that, you will be able to remember that. ठीक है? So Shruti, your answer is already being given in detail by sir about SAE, SRE, SRS, and the difference between engagement and quality control standards. So we try to cover each and every standard in detail so that you can understand the importance of that particular standard, what is being covered in that particular standard. And of course, you can, for reference purpose, you can go to our BOS knowledge portal, and there is some issue, I think. 1 second. BOS knowledge. Okay. So on BOS knowledge portal, we are having our the skill wise, section wise weightage, study material, everything is given over there. Hmm. Saransh booklet is also there. Shruti is asking, one of my friend
Forwarded you
class
sir,
of sir ma'am, in which sir was explaining clause 2 of people slowly word by
अभी
word.
कर देता हूँ मैं कर देता हूँ
Clause and also live class.
एक समझा
Actually,
दूंगा,
these
code is दो नहीं समझा।
classes are already recorded sessions are there on the mobile app, because we need to focus on new chapters also. But yes, after this engagement and quality control standards, second section, which is very, very important, is professional ethics. In professional ethics, the marks allocated are 17% to 24%. So if you have done very effectively engagement and quality control standards and professional ethics, definitely you'll be able to get very good marks. So for professional ethics, first thing, like if you see, it is divided into 2 schedules, first schedule and second schedule. For first schedule, we are having total 19 clauses. And in second schedule, we are having 15 clauses, right? First schedule is divided into 4 parts and second schedule is divided into 3 parts. So for remembering the clause and what is given in the clause, you can develop the habit of using acronyms. Like I can give you example of essay 240 is talking about fraud. So definitely it's up to you how you are arranging acronyms. So 420 you can intellect at 240, its opposite is 420. So 420 is generally relating to fraud. So essay 240 deals with the fraud part, right? So this way you can have these remembering techniques you can use. So for professional ethics also, you need to write the clause number. You need to for the clauses also, you can segregate into like total 19 I told you in first schedule, and then 15 in second schedule. So you can divide these 34 clauses, like first day you have done 7 clauses, and next day you have revised those 7 clauses, and again you have done 7 clauses. So in 5 days your clauses will be very you will be having strong hold on those clauses, and you have done written practice, so it will help you a lot, right? So if we are on BOS knowledge portal, I think screen is visible and Saransh is uploaded over here. And last Saransh, last mile referencer for auditing. So till the time it is, yeah, it's open now. So you can see that we are having SA 800, SRE, SAE, SRS in the Saransh booklet also. I'm just scrolling and reaching to that SAE, SRE and SRS. So इस पेज नंबर पे नहीं जा सकते क्या? So we have tried to cover all 46 standards in this Saransh booklet, and you can see that SA 800 series is given. So I think for Shruti was asking ki how to remember. So Shruti, you can also make your flowcharts in this way, like what is the name of that SA 800, what is the scope, what is the objective, and when you are considering that engagement, then what factors you will consider, that is covered over here, and what are the consideration when you are planning and performing the audit, how you will form the opinion and reporting consideration. So this part we have covered in the flowchart. It is given in the Saransh booklet. Of course, it's for ease of yours, but I will always suggest that you prepare your own notes, because for preparation of notes, you will put in your efforts, and with those efforts, you will be able to memorize also. Same way we have prepared for SA 805, 810 and SRE, engagement to review historical financial statement, SRE 2400. So these are the standards, SAE and SRS. Everything is covered over here in the Saransh booklet. And you can see, because as sir told you that SRS is related services. So we are not using the word auditor. You see, we have used the word practitioner. SRS deals with practitioners' responsibilities. So please ensure and take care the terminology when you are writing in the examination, that for SRS, we use the word practitioner. So coming back to our ICAI website, 1 second. The skill-wise and section-wise weightage, which I told you that for I think you have observed. Shruti is asking, basically, I'm trying to say if sir and ma'am teach at least study material, important topics like slowly, we will remember in long run. But you see, your exams are approaching, and we are running, like today is 20th March. And if we see, we are having only 41 days. First week May paper are there.
एक clause बढ़ा देते हैं
है ना?
एक clause
And
बढ़ा
because we are having only 20 minutes.
बात नहीं,
So
एक clause
as students, you can write to us whether you want to understand about digital audit and assurance and ESG topic, or you want us to explain any single clause. So if you will write that you want to understand the
तो पहले वो
clauses,
करा दो
we will definitely cover
Time
that
बचेगा तो
clause
करा दो।
particularly. Otherwise, would like to brief you over about the topics. So for professional ethics, like 1 second. On ICAI website, skill-wise, section-wise weightage is there, right? So I told you first to 11 chapters are covered in section 1. Weightage is 17% to 24%, ICAI website. And in section 1, we are having professional ethics chapter. Weightage is 17 to 24%. Proper website, ICAI website. I want. And the digital auditing and assurance, it is part of section 2. This alone have weightage of 3% to 6%, means 4 to 6 marks question can be posed from this chapter. And where you will be able to find, I'm not going in much detail, section wise weightage and skill wise weightage, you can see it's given on the website. On the home page only, you will see the icon, new scheme of education and training. You will get all the study material over here, and section wise weightage also, RTPs of course. So section-wise weightage you can refer that for digital auditing and assurance and for ESG, both the topics, specific ESG topic is covered in section 4, and for that also weightage is again 3 to 6%, means 4 to 7 marks question can be asked from that particular topic. Now, how to go about the digital auditing and assurance chapter, because it is a new chapter. So it is advisable for students. So first you can divide it into 3 steps or 4 steps. First, you need to understand difference between what is digital audit and what is auditing digitally, right? You need to understand you need to differentiate these two terms because these sound similar, but there is difference in these two topics. So first you need to understand what is the difference. These are different in term and approach, methodology and objective. But one is about the use of digital technologies to perform audit procedures, and another one involves audit of digital asset. Now, what is digital asset? Cryptocurrency is an example of digital asset. So you need to understand what is the difference between these two terms, right? By understanding the difference between these two approaches, you will be able to appreciate the importance and advantage of each approach, right? And then you need to apply the knowledge of SA 315 in the same. First, what you have done, you have understood what is digital audit, what is auditing digitally, what are the importance, advantage, disadvantage, and then you need to apply the knowledge which you have gained in SA 315. 315 deals with identifying and assessing the risk of material misstatement by understanding the entity and its environment to the IT environment, which is a crucial aspect of digital auditing and auditing digitally. And like I gave you example of digital asset, that is cryptocurrency. And same way, what is digital technology? Like we use Excel tools, CAT tools. So these are technology part. Okay. So you need to apply SA 315 and you need to focus on performing risk assessment to identify and assess the risk in IT environment, including cyber risk. This will enable you to understand the process of cyber risk management and the necessary controls, which are very, very important and essential to address that particular cyber risk. Moreover, you are also required to pay special attention to emerging technology, such as data analytics tools, Internet of Things, IoT, blockchain, NFT, RPA, artificial intelligence. These are already being discussed in our chapter. Even drone technology is also being discussed with the help of some examples. So with these technologies, you can help digital auditing and auditing digitally efficiently, right? And effectively. And these technology will assist auditor in identifying pattern, trend, and what are the anomalies of digital data, which would be difficult to detect manually. So this part is covered in this particular chapter. And when you will be applying these technology, you need to understand the importance. When you are applying this technology, you can work more efficiently, you can save time, resources. What is remote auditing? In COVID time, we learned how to use technology, right? So it will provide more accurate and reliable audit reports as well. So for this particular topic, you need to understand and concept of digital audit and auditing digitally, applying the principle of SA 350, utilizing emerging technologies, and with that you will be able to identify what is being asked in the examination and you will be able to answer for that particular. These technologies like data analytics tools, Internet of Things, blockchain, NFT, robotic process automation, RPA, artificial intelligence, these are covered in detail in the study material. Phishing, smishing, and all these parts are also being covered in the study material. So you can read it by taking interest that why this topic is very, very important, how to study this topic. And when the examination, the question is being asked about digital audit or auditing digitally or any of the technology, you will be able to answer. And you will see that in study material, we have tried to cover lot many examples. We have tried to explain all the technology with lot many examples so that you can identify and analyze. Yeah. What is Jitesh is asking? Professional ethics, of course, after ESG, we will take professional ethics also. So I'll cover in short only in ESG. Gaurav have already taken digital audit and we'll be covering that ESG. Mansa, yes, we have tried. Shruti is saying only current RTP or MTP is to be done only as the old course RTP is removed from BoS portal. Current RTP will be enough, ma'am. Yes, current RTP is enough. And you might have observed that in study material, we have inculcated some new features. Like we are starting chapter with the help of a story. Like in that story, particularly, we are emphasizing what is the importance of that particular topic. So when you will be going through reading that story, you will be able to understand what we are going to cover in the chapter. And after many important topics, many important point, we have given test your understanding. Answer of that test your understanding is given at the end of the chapter. So you can understand what is being discussed and whether you are able to apply that when you are referring that test your understanding question. And in at the end of the chapter also we have tried to cover one integrated case scenario in almost chapters. We have also tried to give quick takeaways, means key takeaways, quick recap, so that you can revise, and after that we are having test your knowledge questions, right? So we have tried to give lot many questions in the study material itself. Revisionary test paper, just for revision purpose, topic wise we have covered, given you some questions. And in mock test paper, of course, you can use some suggested answers, previous examination question papers, but you need to ensure whether it is relevant for your examination, because there might be application of Companies Act or some of the topics which are not relevant, or maybe insurance company chapter is there, audit of insurance company is being removed. You will see audit committee and corporate governance topic is being removed, company audit topic is being removed, then management and operational audit part is also being excluded from the syllabus in new curriculum. So rather, we have tried to cover all the standards in the new curriculum. Along with that, we have tried to insert this digital auditing and assurance and ESG topic. So for that, you need to, while using the suggested answer or PYQ, you can see that whether it is applicable or amended also. Now, moving towards ESG, what is the importance of ESG? Nowadays, you might have seen that this is a very hot topic, very important topic. So, in order to gain a comprehensive understanding of this topic, you are required to, again, you can follow certain steps. You can refer 17 Sustainable Development Goals and their background to have understanding what are the key issues that need to be addressed. So very important, 17 SDG, Sustainable Development Goals. What is their background? So you can have the understanding of those key issues regarding the same. And these goals were established. किसने किए थे? United Nation ने, by the United Nation, and aim was to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. So first, what you have done, you have referred 17 sustainable development goals, which are given in the study material. Then second part, you are required to comprehend the global reporting and trend regarding sustainable reporting. It includes understanding the framework for reporting, like global reporting initiatives, carbon disclosure project, international integrated reporting framework. These framework provide guidelines for organization to report their sustainability performance and help stakeholder assess their impact on society and the environment, because it's very, very crucial and important to have assess and impact the sustainability performance. Third step, what you can do is you can refer integrated reporting and its 6C. Integrated reporting is what? It is a process that result in communication of the performance of organization over time through the use of diverse range of communication channel and techniques. And what are the 6Cs? 6 capitals that organizations use to create value, which are financial capital, manufactured capital, intellectual capital, human capital, relationship capital, and nature capital. So these are 6 C's, 6 capitals, and it's very, very important to understand that. And lastly, you should grasp an understanding of the evaluation of ESG in India. ESG is, you all are aware, right? Environmental, social, and governance. And 3 central factors in measuring the sustainability. So for this also, you need to understand various guidelines and reports like corporate social responsibility voluntary guidelines, national voluntary guidelines on social, environmental, and economic responsibility of business, BRSR, then sustainability report, SAE 300 issued by ICAI, social audit standards. So all these you need to understand in detail. And by understanding these guidelines and standards, you will be able to have better understanding of current state of sustainable reporting and the guidelines which an organization need to follow. So the question can be posed about 6 C's or about integrated reporting you might have seen in the chapter. So don't think it's very crucial or very theoretical part. First, you make your notes for 17 sustainable development goals. Secondly, see the global reporting trend, and you need to understand what is the integrated reporting. And then we need to prepare notes for 6 C's, and then what are the covered in the guidelines. Okay. So if you have any specific query, ma'am, Jitesh is asking, do we have to mention erstwhile it was section 225 of Companies Act 1956, now section 139. You can write, but now you can simply give reference of section 139 of the Companies Act 2013. So I think I need to come to professional ethics. Professional ethics is hot demand, huh? Earlier students were asking about ESG, digital audit, right? Sumit, in MCQ also the same section. And yeah, this section wise and skill wise weightage is for 114 marks. 30 marks MCQ is also part of that. 70 marks descriptive part, 14 marks additional question. And I can show you the mock test paper. 1 second. I'm showing you mock test paper. You can see the pattern. We are having this 30 marks case scenario based MCQ, that is section A. Here you can see that we are having independent MCQs, and for solving MCQs also you can use elimination method, which is the not relevant. You can remove that part and you will be able to identify the correct answer. Or second part, you can apply directly the provision, and if you are able to identify what should be the answer, you can directly click. Otherwise you can use elimination method. So you can see we have given 3 independent MCQs, and these independent MCQs are also application and analysis based, not knowledge based, right? And then we have tried to give 3 case scenario. You can see 4 to 6 MCQs are based on that integrated case scenario, which is given in the case scenario 1. Then in the for case scenario 2, we have given 7 to 10 MCQs, means again 4 MCQs are there and 5 MCQs arising out of case scenario 3. So total MCQs will be 15 only, and 3 or 4 may be 3 and 4 will be independent MCQ. Sandeep, you are asking my handwriting is bad. When I write in speed, is bad handwriting deducting the marks? Bad handwriting will not deduct the marks. But if the checker is not able to read, then of course marks will be deducted, because that person will not be able to read what you have written, whether it is correct or not. So it's very important that it should be legibly readable. You can read that.
देखो मैंने बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट की राइटिंग इंप्रूव कराई है। अगर कोई स्टूडेंट प्रॉब्लम बताता है तो मैं सोल्यूशन जरूर बताता हूँ, ठीक है। अब मैं आपको तरीका बताऊंगा, और 2 महीने में, अभी आपके पास महीना है, महीने में ही आपकी राइटिंग इंप्रूव हो जाएगी एट दैट। आपको दिन में 10 मिनट निकालने, 10 मिनट भी ज्यादा है, 5 मिनट निकाल लो। चलो, आप वर्कबुक आती है स्टूडेंट छोटे बच्चों की, 3rd 4th 5th क्लास के बच्चों की, उसका 1 पेज राइट कर लें इंग्लिश वाली वर्कबुक, बस 1 पेज, बस गिन के। और आपकी एट द एंड ऑफ द डे 30 डेज के बाद राइटिंग ना इंप्रूव हो जाए तो आप मुझे कह देना, ठीक है। आप ये करना पड़ता है। मैं एक ही बात कहता हूँ स्टूडेंट्स को, ट्राई टू इम्प्लीमेंट द थिंग वी आर सजेस्टिंग। सुनना आसान है कानों पे, इम्प्लीमेंटेशन डिफिकल्ट है। इम्प्लीमेंटेशन आप जिस दिन शुरू कर दोगे उस दिन कामयाबी आपको मिलनी शुरू। मैं सोल्यूशन हमेशा बताता हूँ, स्टूडेंट प्रॉब्लम बताते हैं, तो आप करके करके देखोगे तो बहुत अच्छे रिजल्ट आएंगे कि आपकी राइटिंग डेफिनेटली इंप्रूव होने वाली है।
कामयाब लोग अपने फैसले से दुनिया बदल देते हैं, जबकि नाकामयाब लोग दुनिया के डर से अपने फैसले बदल देते हैं। तो आपको अपनी हैंडराइटिंग जो है ना, अगर उसको जो मैं राइटिंग प्रैक्टिस का आपको बोल रही हूँ कि आफ्टर स्टडिंग ईच एंड एवरी टॉपिक स्टैंडर्ड और प्रोफेशनल एथिक्स, लाइक आपने आज 7 क्लॉज की है, उसके कुछ क्वेश्चन आपने लिखे, तो राइटिंग प्रैक्टिस से आपकी राइटिंग भी इम्प्रूव हो जाएगी और उसके साथ में एग्जाम में स्पीड भी बन जाएगी। तो आप स्पीड में लिखोगे क्योंकि आपकी स्पीड ऑलरेडी बन चुकी है। तो फर्स्ट थिंग आप ये समझ लो कि जो जिसके लिए आप लिख रहे हो एग्जाम में, जो चेकर है, अगर वो पढ़ नहीं पाएगा या समझ नहीं पाएगा तो फिर आपको मार्क्स कैसे मिलेंगे। तो फर्स्ट थिंग, अगर आपकी हैंडराइटिंग बैड है कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, बट इट शुड बी रीडेबल, लिजिबल। थोड़ा नीट एंड क्लीन काम करते हैं तो देख के दिल खुश हो जाता है, तो चेकर का भी दिल
अभी
खुश हो
भी 1
जाएगा।
मंथ है, इंप्रूव हो जाएगी, रेस्ट
हाँ।
एश्योर।
टिप्स फॉर हिंदी मीडियम स्टूडेंट्स, हिंदी मीडियम स्टूडेंट्स
हिंदी
ऑल्सो
तो अलाउड है कोई?
सेम सेम थिंग इज देयर, यू नीड टू हैव राइटिंग प्रैक्टिस। आपको लिखने की प्रैक्टिस करनी है, तभी आप ये देख पाओगे कि आपकी राइटिंग जो है वो रीडेबल है नहीं है, आप कंप्लीट आंसर लिख रहे हो या नहीं लिख रहे हो, जितना जो रिक्वायरमेंट है क्वेश्चन की वो पार्ट आपका कवर हो रहा है या नहीं हो रहा है। अब नाउ इफ वी कम टू डिस्क्रिप्टिव क्वेश्चन, यू सी क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 इज कंपल्सरी अटेम्प्ट एनी 4 क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम द रेस्ट। नाउ हाउ मेनी क्वेश्चंस आर रेस्ट? Total 5 question, means total 6 question are being asked. 14 marks is allocated to each question. So for 84 marks and one internal choice. So you see 84 marks plus 30 marks means 114 marks. So the skill wise, section wise weightage which we are discussing about is about that, it's given over here. It's for 114 marks. So 45 to 55% is you need to take from 114 marks, right? Then shall we explain one clause of professional ethic on the demand of the student? So which clause we want to explain? Clause 1 only,
Clause
per
1
schedule part 1.
क्लॉज 2 कर देते हैं, जैसे को दोनों कर देते हैं पहले।
एक कर देते हैं और उसके बाद first we should take, I think,
कोई बात नहीं,
हाँ, first I think better to take that clause code of ethics and then we can tell them
नहीं
about
पहले ही
it.
बता दो किसी।
नहीं, एक clause करवा, फिर just basic tips we can get.
तो स्टूडेंट्स, प्रोफेशनल एथिक्स की क्लॉजेज को आपको कैसे करना है, एग्जाम्पल के लिए मैंने फर्स्ट शेड्यूल की क्लॉज 1 और क्लॉज 2, कौन सी क्लॉज प्ले
वी
करेंगे?
क्लॉज 1 ले लेते हैं जस्ट फॉर लर्निंग टेक्निक्स। एक्रोनिम्स बनाए जा सकते हैं, उसके अलावा ये वाला जो मेथड है।
लिंकेज से आपको मैं क्लॉज 2 बता देता हूँ, बहुत अच्छा आपको समझ में आएगा। लिंकेज है उसमें बहुत अच्छी, थोड़ी बड़ी भी है क्लॉज, इसलिए क्लॉज 2 सिलेक्ट कर रहा हूँ। लिंकेज तो पहले में भी बन जाएगी। एक चार्टर्ड, ये कॉमन लाइन है, हर एक क्लॉज के पहले आएगी। ये कॉमन लाइन आपको अच्छी तरीके से करनी है। चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट इन प्रैक्टिस इज डीम्ड टू बी गिल्टी ऑफ प्रोफेशनल मिसकंडक्ट। ये चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट इन प्रैक्टिस इज डीम्ड टू बी गिल्टी ऑफ प्रोफेशनल मिसकंडक्ट। इसको 10 टाइम्स आप बोलोगे, आपके माइंड में बिल्कुल फिट हो जाएगी। लेकिन प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि स्टूडेंट्स, आपको ये लाइन ही नहीं लिखनी आती है, आई एम सॉरी टू से दिस। ये एक पहली लाइन ही नहीं लिखनी आती होती है, ये सब में कॉमन होती है। जबकि तो चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट इन प्रैक्टिस इज डीम्ड टू बी गिल्टी ऑफ प्रोफेशनल मिसकंडक्ट इफ ही, यहां तक लर्न करना है। अब सेकंड क्लॉज, इसमें आप 2 वर्ड याद करो, बाकी सारी लिंकेज है। बस सिर्फ 2 वर्ड्स मैं कह रहा हूं, पेज और अलाउज। सिर्फ 2 वर्ड्स आपको याद करने हैं, बाकी सारी लिंकेज से सिखा दूंगा आपको। देखो, इफ ही पेज और अलाउज, ये तो कोई मुश्किल बात नहीं याद करना, पेज और अलाउज। तो पेज और अलाउज, अब आगे कहता है कि चाहे इसका एग्रीमेंट भी किया हो, क्यों ना किया हो, अगले वर्ड यही है, और एग्रीज टू पे और अलाउ। चाहे इसका एग्री पेज और अलाउ और एग्रीज टू पे और अलाउ, चाहे डायरेक्टली उसको दिया हो या इनडायरेक्टली घुमा फिरा के दे दिया हो। इफ ही चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट इज इन प्रैक्टिस डीम्ड टू बी गिल्टी ऑफ प्रोफेशनल मिसकंडक्ट इफ ही, सेकंड क्लॉज, पेज, पे कर रहा है या अलाउ कर रहा है, डायरेक्टली और इनडायरेक्टली, पेज और अलाउस और एग्रीज टू, या इसका एग्रीमेंट कर लिया और एग्रीज टू पे और अलाउ, और डायरेक्टली और इनडायरेक्टली। अब मैं कहता हूं कि पेमेंट अगर कोई की, यहां तक आप पहुंच गए डायरेक्टली और इनडायरेक्टली तक, देखो लिंकेज से हम पहुंचे जा रहे हैं। पेज, अब क्या पेमेंट अगर कोई कर रहा हूं मैं, तो किस चीज की पेमेंट है यहाँ पे, क्या पेमेंट कर रहे हैं, यहां से लिंकेज बनाना है आपने। तो कहते हैं तीन बातें हैं स्टूडेंट्स पेमेंट के लिए, एनी शेयर, कमीशन और ब्रोकरेज। तीन बात, तीन वर्ड आपको माइंड में रखने, एनी शेयर, कमीशन और ब्रोकरेज। अब शेयर, कमीशन और ब्रोकरेज किस चीज में, चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट फर्म है तो इन हिज प्रॉफिट्स ऑफ प्रोफेशनल बिजनेस, इन हिज, इन द प्रॉफिट फीस और प्रॉफिट्स ऑफ हिज प्रोफेशनल बिजनेस। अब किसको पेमेंट करिए, अगर टू एनी पर्सन लिख दिया, क्या लिख दिया, टू एनी पर्सन, क्लॉज यहां पर खत्म हो जाती है, प्लीज रिमेंबर दिस। आगे तो उसके एक्सेप्शंस बताए गए हैं कि अदर देन मेंबर, यहां तक आपको करना है टू एनी पर्सन। तो यहां तक आपकी क्लॉज कंप्लीट टू। तो आपने कितने वर्ड याद किए थे, दो सिर्फ, पेज और अलाउ, और एग्रीज टू पे और अलाउ, डायरेक्टली और इनडायरेक्टली। ठीक है, एनी शेयर, कमीशन और ब्रोकरेज, किसको, इन हिज, इन हिज फीस और प्रॉफिट्स ऑफ हिज प्रोफेशनल बिजनेस, टू एनी पर्सन। पेमेंट करूंगा तो किसी को तो दूंगा ना मैं, तो टू एनी पर्सन। तो यहां पर ये क्लॉज खत्म हो जाती है कि किसी भी पर्सन को अगर पेमेंट किया तो प्रोफेशनल मिसकंडक्ट है। अगर आपने अपने प्रॉफिट्स ऑफ प्रोफेशनल बिजनेस किसी भी पर्सन से शेयर किए तो ये प्रोफेशनल मिसकंडक्ट है। यहां तक आप इसको ऐसे समझो भी। अब आगे कुछ इसके एक्सेप्शन बताए हैं, अदर देन। अदर देन क्या बताया, मेंबर ऑफ द इंस्टीट्यूट इसी एक्सेप्शन है। अदर देन आप लिस्ट बना लो 1 2 3 करके, मेंबर ऑफ द इंस्टीट्यूट है उसका, और पार्टनर, उसका पार्टनर अपने पार्टनर को दे रहा है तो प्रोफेशनल मिसकंडक्ट। अब ये प्रोफेशनल मिसकंडक्ट नहीं है अगर इनको देगा तो। अदर देन मेंबर ऑफ द इंस्टीट्यूट और हिज पार्टनर, रिटायर्ड पार्टनर, लीगल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव ऑफ डिसीज पार्टनर, और मेंबर ऑफ एनी अदर प्रोफेशनल बॉडी और विद सच अदर पर्सन as may be prescribed for the purpose of rendering such professional services in India or outside। ये आपने लिस्ट बनानी है अदर देन वाली, इसमें तो आपको कोई टाइम लगना ही नहीं, जस्ट एक लिस्ट बनाओगे और ये हो जाएगा आपका। तो ये देखो लिंकेज करके मैंने दो वर्ड सिर्फ आपको लर्न कराए हैं, पेड और अलाउज, और जितने भी इसके एक्सेप्शन है सारे लॉजिकल है। मेंबर ऑफ द इंस्टीट्यूट, पार्टनर, लीगल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव ऑफ डिसीज पार्टनर, ठीक है, मेंबर ऑफ एनी अदर प्रोफेशनल बॉडी विच इज रिकॉग्नाइज्ड बाय इन इंडिया और आउटसाइड इंडिया फॉर दिस, फॉर द पर्पस। तो इस तरह से आप इसको करोगे तो सारा प्रोफेशनल एथिक्स आपका वर्ड बाय वर्ड आपको माइंड में रहेगा लिंकेज मेथड से। तो मैंने क्लॉज टू स्टूडेंट्स आपको समझाने की।
So, and Mansha is asking, sir, please, one clause one of second schedule. But before that, I would like to take query of Shruti Juneja. Mansha का ऐसा हो गया, दिल मांगे मोर है ना, अभी दो ही clause. She want to understand the whole chapter of professional ethics from us. So first, I'm taking query of Shruti. Shruti is saying descriptive question can contain one or more essay, ma'am, or one or more chapter also. Yes. Auditing is interrelated with other subject also, na? So I told you about knowledge and comprehension, application and analysis based question, and for evaluation and synthesis, it can be comprising of more than one standard. You might have seen in this mock test paper. One second, let me show you. Mock test paper, if you refer the answer of like 1B, है ना? You in 1B you see there is link of essay 505, then essay 705 is also covered, right? 701 is also covered. So it's not कि एक ही essay पूछा जाएगा. It can be more than one essay. So for descriptive question, if the question is evaluation and synthesis based, it means either more than one situation is being asked or more than one standard is being asked. ठीक है? Now professional ethics topic if we talk, तो उसमें आपका कंपनी ऑडिट भी आ सकता है, स्टैंडर्ड का एप्लीकेशन का भी आ सकता है, बिकॉज यू नीड टू आइडेंटिफाई कि ये इथिकली करेक्ट था या नहीं था। तो इसलिए एक से ज्यादा चैप्टर भी हो सकते हैं, एक से ज्यादा स्टैंडर्ड भी हो सकते हैं। ठीक है, तो 1 second। So Mansha, I'm taking clause 1 of second schedule, part 1. I think you all are aware that what is the difference between first schedule and second schedule. Second schedule, the complaint goes to director discipline, right? And it should that director discipline is of the opinion that member is guilty of any professional or other misconduct. In second schedule or both the schedule, the matter will be placed before the disciplinary committee. And for second schedule, part 1 deals with CA in practice. First schedule, part 1 is also professional misconduct in relation to CA in practice. And CA in practice shall be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct if he, this line should be your pet line in each and every question sir has already told you. So when you are writing answer of that professional ethics base, because now it's also 17 to 24% weightage, right? So it's very, very important topic for you. So when you start your answer, of course, you need to start with the line that clause, the particular clause number of part number of schedule number to the CA Act 1949 deals with the professional misconduct. And you need to start that CA in practice shall be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct if he. Now, what is given in the clause 1? Discloses information acquired in the course of his professional engagement to any person other than his client. Now you need to check whether it is ethically correct or not when somebody tell you some information and you are professionally engaged. So when you disclose information which you have acquired in the course of your professional, आप ऑडिट करने गए और आपको वहां की कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट इंफॉर्मेशन आपको आइडिया है और आपने उस क्लाइंट के अलावा या क्लाइंट की कंसेंट के बिना अगर किसी को आपने वो इंफॉर्मेशन डिस्क्लोज कर दी है, it is not ethically correct, na? So in that situation, that member will be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct under clause 1. When he can disclose, either he had taken the consent of client or it is required by any law for the timing in force. So it means if it is required under any law or if the auditor has taken the consent from the client, then only the information can be disclosed. Or in other case, if the chartered accountant in practice disclose the information which he has acquired in the course of professional engagement to other person, any person other than his client, without the consent, definitely the CA will be guilty of professional misconduct. So now we are already running short of time. So I am closing professional ethics part. And 1 second. So I just want to give you some specific hints, right? We have tried to cover section 1, that is dealing with engagement and quality control standard, 11 chapters. Section 2, digital auditing and assurance. We have tried to cover that section 4 ESG part, section 5 professional ethics. You can segregate the clauses, you can learn the clauses, have writing practice, central council guidelines, then what are the threats, safeguards, how to respond, address to those threats, है ना? All those part you need to learn, and then you need to have develop the habit of writing practice. Section 4, of course, it comprises of all miscellaneous audit. Prashant, please discuss in how many words we need to answer the question according to the marks assigned. For that, I have already told you. And Kriti, yes, all 15 MCQs of 2 marks each because all are application and analysis based. So each MCQ will be of 2 marks. So Prashant, 1 second. Please discuss in how many words we need to answer. So for particular question, there is no described word limit. Prescribed word limit is not there. If the question is knowledge based or 4 marks question is there, you need to see that 4 marks के क्वेश्चन के लिए आपको 4 कंप्लीट पॉइंट्स देने, 4 कंप्लीट पॉइंट. ऐसा नहीं कि आपने 1 पॉइंट के 3 अपने नोट्स में बनाए थे और वो 3 पॉइंट और एक एक्स्ट्रा पॉइंट 4 पॉइंट दे दिए. कंप्लीट पॉइंट्स होने चाहिए. और उन कंप्लीट पॉइंट्स की लेंथ क्या है? अगर वो बहुत छोटे छोटे पॉइंट्स हैं, हाफ लाइन है या 2 वर्ड्स के हैं, और अगर उस टॉपिक में 8 पॉइंट्स है तो डेवलप द हैबिट टू गिव 8 पॉइंट्स. If the 4 points are complete and enough, then give 4 complete points. Complete points, I'm again repeating, if you are preparing your own notes, if you are referring any flow charts, if you are referring any author's book, please ensure that you have developed the habit, you have ensured that this is complete points. So you need to give 4 complete points, right? So there is no specific prescribed word limit. But write to the relevant. And one more student asked about the flow charts. There is no need to prepare flow chart in the examination. Of course, it's for your better understanding. you need to give complete answer. Develop the habit to write the complete answer. Because in flowcharts, again, you will be going for shortcut and it may be that you lose your marks. Of course, when you have written complete answer and you are having ample of time, you can explain it in the with the help of flowchart. But inculcate the habit to write complete answer. And then Mansha is asking information about
bonds, yes, it's
if this was asked to the auditor of SBI. Yes. So if it is required under any law or regulatory requirement, then auditor can disclose the information. Otherwise, it will be misconduct only. Shruti is saying basically keywords are very important to be identified in the answer. Rest answer can be formed in our own. Yes, I already covered in my session that your language can be your own, but technical term like misstatement, fraud, or qualified opinion, modified opinion, or disclaimer of opinion. So those particular technical terms, you should develop the habit that you are remembering those particular terms and you are writing those. So now we wanted to tell you how to brush up the knowledge. We told you focus on presentation, how to write the answer for integrated case scenario based MCQ. Please develop the habit, read the integrated case scenario question very carefully, read the MCQ, then apply that provision which is relevant for that and interlink it with the case scenario and accordingly mark the correct answer. What should be your exam strategy? Your preparation should be strong enough. You're prepared. You have not compromised with any of the topic. You have covered each and every topic effectively, efficiently. Don't compromise with any topic. Cover in detail. Prepare your own notes. Do writing practice. And your preparation should be in such a way that in 1 or 2 days duration, you are able to revise. You are not in panic situation that time बहुत कम है, इतना लेंदी सिलेबस है, कैसे रिवाइज करें, ये तो रिवाइज ही नहीं हो पाया, यही हो पाया. So your strategy should be in such a way that you are able to understand what you are going to cover in that 1.5 days duration of time. So it should be solving of question, of course, writing practice, mock test paper, series 2 is starting from 1st of the April. So please practice mock test paper. Writing practice is very, very important. You can identify some question from the study material. RTP, you can write in examination condition and apply and analyze that and evaluate where you are lacking and where you need to focus more. In case if you find any further difficulty, you can contact us also in 0120-3045-925. You can use Ask Your Query feature on your mobile app. You can write to us. We will definitely be helping you. Use the MCQ portal. Simple MCQs are just for your concept clearance, but integrated case scenario part is also being there. You develop the habit to solve the integrated case scenario so that in examination will not be panic and you'll be able to write properly. Discuss on the common issue, like what are the common issues, the students which they generally commit mistakes, that they are not writing complete answer. This agenda we have covered, and please do better to best. I have already told you, मेहनत करने वाले है ना, कोशिश करने वालों की हार नहीं होती, लहरों से डरकर नौका पार नहीं होती. तो हमें हिम्मत रखनी है, कोशिश करनी है, लगातार मेहनत करनी है, because success require continuous efforts. And of course for this you should not be कि हम खा नहीं रहे हैं, सो नहीं रहे हैं और सिर्फ पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं. हमारे लिए बहुत जरूरी है कि हम अपनी मेंटल हेल्थ को ध्यान रखें. एटलीस्ट 5 to 10 minutes we can have meditation, we can play some game, not like playing on mobile. It should be physical activity. We can do some exercise, we should laugh, we should relax so that our mental strength is maximized. ठीक है. Publication, which are the publication relevant? I have already told you. Study material, mock test paper, RTP, MCQ portal, Saransh booklet you can refer. Where the resources are available, you can visit BoS knowledge portal or mobile app. You hopefully you have downloaded, but if you have not, then you can go to Google Play Store. You can download it. In case if you are having Apple, you can go to Apple Play Store and download it. What are the sources available for revision, for practice? You can use live coaching classes or live virtual classes. It's available on your mobile app. All the classes, recorded version, assignments, notes. You can practice with the help of RTP, MTP, suggested answers, of course, PYQs, where you feel that these are the questions because standards are generally same. So you can use those questions and you can practice with the help of that. MTP 2 series are there. Series 1 is already being completed. and series 2 is scheduled in the month of April. So you can practice. Language should be have legal touch. I already told you, give the reference of essay, clause, or whichever provision which is applicable. No general answer. Verbatim is not required. You need not to write word by word. Your language should be properly because you are at CA final level. Expert knowledge is required. Any provision given should have essential element because not like your answer should not be in much detail, and proper conclusion is also definitely required. For examination, we have already discussed about illustrative paper pattern. We have seen the mock test paper division A, of course, comprising of entirely MCQ for 30 marks and 70 marks is for descriptive. For MCQ also maybe case scenario 2 to 3, independent application based MCQ. Paper pattern, of course, we have seen in mock test paper descriptive questions 70 marks. Question 1 is compulsory. It's generally on engagement and quality control standard. Attempt any 4 question out of remaining 5. That is question 2 to 6. How to attempt the MCQs? Option in MCQs are such that student need to have good knowledge of the provision. Standards, they need to apply it. And each MCQ have 4 options. So they are near to each other. So you need to choose most appropriate answer. For that, you need to read the case scenario carefully. Right? So please read the case scenario carefully. MCQs are from that facts provided information in the case scenario only. And out of 4 options, you need to select the most appropriate answer, right? How to attempt? Because these questions are compulsory, but of course, there is no reasoning required, no negative marking. So you can get very good marks. You need to practice and practice. So there is no internal or external choice. You need to note down this point. And negative marking is not there. Reasoning is also not required. And MCQ will be application based only for 2 marks each. For descriptive and case scenario based question, please give engagement and quality control standards or notification, or in case of professional ethics, you need to give cross reference. Correlated, apply the same in provided issue. Give conclusion with correct answer. Length should be commensuration with marks allotted, and it should be proper frame language. You can write in your own language, but the language should be like comprising of certain technical terms which are generally required to be used. You need to ensure that those technical means you don't use anything about in place of disclaimer of opinion or other than qualified opinion. You need to certain terms and technical terms are you are required to use. Okay, and so don't give general answer without capturing the extent provision, because if for 4 marks, I told you that you have segregated. But then second point is, if you are writing the same point, because you are aware that for 4 marks, for 4 marks, we need to give 4 points. So examiner is not fool. If you are writing the same point in other with another words, or you are writing something, elaborating the same in the next point, that particular point is assigned only 1 mark. So for 1 complete point, 1 mark is allocated. So either you are writing in another words, or you are writing in, you are using some other terms, or you are just elaborating in the next point, marks will be same. So give complete answer, understand the requirement of the question. If the question is direct theoretical, means K and C, knowledge and comprehension, in that case, you need to highlight the main points. Okay. Or example, if required, because generally student ask whether we can give our own example. If example is required, then only you need to give. Answer should be broken in brief points or paragraph. It should not be lengthy one. But of course, if you are, it's depending upon your comfort. Answer in properly framed language is common for both, and diagrammatic representation of flowchart is not required as asked by you. But in case you have completed your answer and you are having ample of time, then do revision. But then you can give flowchart. Otherwise, better to give detailed answer. How to manage time in the examination? Make optimum use of 15 minutes, which is given for reading. It is not that you should start by last question or first question. It's not that first question will be tricky one. First question is compulsory. But this 15 minutes duration of time will help you that which question you should attend first. So always be confident, because in 114 marks question, there'll be 30 to 40 marks question, or 30 or 25 to 30 marks question, which is very crucial and difficult one. At that point of time, you need to manage your mental balance. because 70 marks paper we are knowing. So better to focus on that 70 marks. Okay. And start with that, the answer which we know best. Start with that. And definitely after reaching that 70 marks, we will be having such confidence that we will be able to answer those difficult question also. So don't focus on difficult. Don't go for, generally it's our tendency ना कि जो गलत होता है या जहां आपको लगता है ये नहीं आता है उसी पे हमारा फोकस हो जाता है. उसकी जगह हमारा फोकस होना चाहिए कि जो हमें बहुत अच्छे से आता है, we should start with that. सो मेंटल बैलेंस इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट और आपको उससे स्टार्ट करना है जो आपको बहुत अच्छे से आता है. सो आपको सारे क्वेश्चन फटाफट 15 मिनट्स के ड्यूरेशन में रीड करना है. जो क्वेश्चन आपको बेस्ट आता है उसको आपको पहले सिलेक्ट करना है और आपको कौन सा फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट करना है. इस 15 मिनट्स के ड्यूरेशन में आप ये डिसाइड कर सकते हो व्हाट विल बी योर स्ट्रेटेजी का आपको कौन सा क्वेश्चन पहले करना है, उसके बाद में कौन सा क्वेश्चन करना है. रिमेंबर वन थिंग, 100 मार्क्स का पूरा पूरा हो सकता है, हमें नहीं आता है, बट वी नीड टू बैलेंस. ठीक है. एंड अलोकेट एस्टिमेटेड टाइम. ठीक है. adhere to time allocated. Sometimes we vary, but keep it minimum. Okay. And write each answer in commensuration with the marks. For 4 marks, don't write too much. 2-3 pager. It's not college examination. So develop habit that what is the requirement of the question. Accordingly, we need to give, but then the question should be complete. Answer should be complete. Okay. So with this, we have tried to cover each and everything. But aren't we ethically misconduct if we rely on management report? I don't think, Jitesh, what you are asking, actually, I'm not able to understand your query. So Jitesh, or any of the student, if any of your query is left out, suppose, though we try to cover each and every query, but still, it may so happen that any of the query is skipped, or any of the student who watch this video later, if they have any query in their mind, they can definitely ask through Ask Your Query mobile app, and they can write to us on auditing-final@ICAI.in so that we can answer your query. Okay. So we have tried to cover. So sir, would you like to add something so that thereafter we will conclude it?
Thank you very much, students. So, बड़ा अच्छा लगा session. Students काफी interactive थे and thank you very much for
Patience listening, है ना? So now we are wrap up the session today, and I want to leave you with some final thoughts and encouragement that I hope will inspire you to embrace hard work and pursue your path to success with unwavering determination. Remember that success is not an overnight achievement. It's the result of precision efforts and an unrelenting commitment on your goals. So each day, each hour, each moment which you are investing on your preparation, your education, your knowledge, you are putting your step forward to your rewarding journey, because each and every step will help you to attain the success. So your dreams and aspirations are valid and they are worth ounce of hard work which you are putting into it. So embrace the challenges. Of course, remembering the name of standards, clauses, and writing in identifying in the examination is sometimes challenging, but definitely when you will be putting your continuous efforts, you will move towards your सक्सेस जर्नी. सो जो तेरे अंदर के साहस को पहचान लेता है, कोई है जो तेरे हौसले को उड़ान देता है. छुपा नहीं रह सकता किसी फनकार के अंदर, हर फन परिश्रमी को मैदान देता है. लेकिन सिर्फ वही शख्स बदल सकता है सपनों को हकीकत में, जो जिंदा दिल रहकर अपनी जान देता है. किस्मत भी कांप उठती है उसकी कोशिशों से, जो शख्स जिंदगी को कर्मों का तूफान देता है. कहने को तो हम है मिट्टी का पुतला, लेकिन हीरा है जो तराशने वाले को शान देता है. यूं तो कितने इंसान हैं यहाँ एक ही नाम के, लेकिन किसका नाम है जो मेहनत से अपने आप को पहचान देता है. तो कोशिश करने वालों की हार नहीं होती. हमेशा जब भी हमें लगे कि ये डिफिकल्ट है, कैसे करेंगे, तो हमेशा इस लाइन को ध्यान रखना कि लहरों से डरकर नौका पार नहीं होती और कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती. With this, may you all fly in the plane of ambition and land on the platform of success. Thank you and wish you all the very best, and will definitely need your feedback what we need to cover and how to improvise the session. Your feedback is very, very important. With this, thank you very much. I am CA Karuna Bhansali.
I am CA Rajiv Sachdeva. Thank you very much.
Thank you, students, and all the best.